And until my crew shows up, we're good.
All right. I think should be live. That should be live here. Nobody in the chat room. No viewers yet. We'll give it a minute to start up, warm up, catch up.
So how's the homestead?
Busy. We've got to cull the herd here. We got to we're getting rid of some of the piglets and some of the baby goats. They're going away, but we got to do some
or
meat
butchering
processing
them.
other than that too, you know.
Nice.
Yeah, we got to put some meat in the freezer.
Hey, I like goat meat.
Yeah, it can be really good. I mean, obviously, the big thing about it, like anything, is what you feed it, is what it tastes like. You know, makes a big difference.
Well, also how you cook it. You know, I mean, if you cook it like shit, it's going to taste like shit. You know, but I had plenty. I used to have these where I grew up. I used to love eating everybody's food, right? So you talk to the Arabs, Palestinians, Lebanese, they love goat, right? The Jamaicans, oh fuck, they make a curry goat that'll make your eyes tear, you know? Indians, oh my, I mean, I never saw a reason why not to eat it. I know a lot of people that feel it's like, oh, it's a goat. Yeah. You know what? I'll eat it.
It's a herd animal, just like all the others that we eat, right?
Yeah, to me, it's no different than a sheep or a cow or anything else, you know.
Yeah, and there's some awesome recipes, like you're saying curry, but all the Mediterranean type recipes that go with
simmered in
gyros or whatever.
Have you ever had? I had a stew, a mint stew with goat meat one time, right? I forget who these people. I think it was a Lebanese chick. Right, her parents made it for me, you know, and man, I'll tell you what, you didn't care what was in it, you know.
Yeah, there's definitely some high flying good stuff out there that is good. I mean, people have been eating it for thousands of years. It ain't like you can replace it for chicken or beef, really, depending on what you're making. It can replace either one.
I know a lot of people who couldn't eat pork, right? It was against their religion. And that was one of the things they would use in any recipe to replace it would be goat. You know, just take a little longer to cook to make sure the meat was softer.
Yeah.
Because those little fuckers jump very athletic. The goddamn goats, man. They'll toughen up their meat pretty quick.
I mean, I've seen them drag goats off the hillside in Afghanistan. They butcher it up, and it's good stuff, you know. Like, they're not eating nothing more than the brush on the side of the hill and what little grass there is.
And here you are, stuff like alfalfa, right? You know.
Yeah, they're definitely living large. They're a bunch of fatties.
Yeah.
Yeah, we got to start working on some milk and cheese too. Cheese products, hopefully.
Nice. Have you started to learn how to make that stuff?
I haven't. I guess the wife has.
Because we can't learn all the skills. That's why we have a partner, right?
Oh yeah, no doubt.
Shared experience, you know. So if they're good at making cheese, good. I'm good at raising and killing. So let's work this out. That's the way we get a cheeseburger, you know.
Yeah. All right. Looks like we got some people in the chat room. Welcome to the chat, everybody. Mule can't see, so I'll let you know who's in here, Mule. We got Rooster Cogburn with us, Iridium 242, Bikes and Bullets, Jake Kurt, and Bikes and Bullets. They're all in the side chat commenting, and probably got a few lurkers out there, the NSA watching. Welcome. Really just wanted to do a chat and catch up on all the stuff I missed. I was going to do a chat this weekend and kind of neglected to get it done, and then I missed this morning's chat, and I'm probably gonna miss tomorrow morning's too. So, got to wrap it all into one tonight.
Yeah. I know. I like. Okay, so now in the mornings, I get off of work and I'm settling down before I go to sleep, and I expect to see your damn chat. Okay, I expect to catch the West Coast news from you, and I'm not getting it. What's going on here, buddy?
this morning, probably tomorrow morning too.
Vlog. What the hell?
I did one Friday. What are you talking about?
Yeah, but this is Monday.
I didn't know you were so in tune to what we were doing out here.
No, I'm not. I'm just busting your chops.
Yeah. Yeah, but bikes, I wouldn't say it's gamey at all. It depends on how it's processed and how goat is cooked, you know. They can
also how they're fed. That has a lot to do with it.
Yeah, crock potting it and stuff like that is just makes it just like any other brisket or anything else you do, or pork shoulder or anything. It comes out really good. What I'm really thinking about trying is goat jerky and figuring out that. You know?
Well, if you do that, I'll be sending you my address, right? You can send some this way.
Oh, yeah, there you go. Yeah. If I get a good recipe, if I do it right, we'll see how that works.
I'll even save a piece for one of the guys I drive around. He's a Jamaican. With all he's got dreads almost down to his ass, and he's hilarious. He's always bitching about how it gets in the way as he's trying to do his job.
Yeah.
So,
right.
What did you miss this weekend that you wanted to discuss?
Well, I was really looking at that California situation. They had. Did you hear the story about the illegal immigrant or illegal infiltrator, whatever you want to call it, that was given a position in government? He was appointed to a position in the government, and everybody knows he's illegal.
Yeah, I heard about it, but I mean, is it shocking to me?
Right? How much worse can it get, right?
Yeah, not in the least bit am I surprised, right? So I think the funny part is going to be if the federal government wins this no sanctuary city crap and all the stuff that particular state's going against ICE and federal agencies, that, you know, if they lose, guess, you know, ICE is going to be knocking on this guy's office door in the fucking state capitol. You know, hello, you're coming with us. But I'm a state official. Yeah, that's not going to matter much.
Yeah, it's just bizarre. It's like, why hasn't the few people that are left in California that are like, are they going to start resisting, or are they going to leave, or what are they going to do? It's like, really, it's nut cutting time, you know, like seriously, cut and run. What are you going to do?
Well, how many times have we mentioned in the chats that, you know what, it's Penske, Hertz, all the rest of them will basically give you a moving van just to bring it back to California because so many people are leaving. You know?
Yeah, I sent out some links to like WM Warrior and 10 Round because, you know, they're out there, but they haven't been chatting forever. But it'd be really good to get their perspective because it's just like, what is going on? What are you guys going to do? Because this is not getting any better, and it's really getting worse than probably most had figured. It's more than just guns.
No, I mean, look at what's going on over there, right? So in California now, especially in LA, there's actually hate give her what they want to be called, right? So if I want to be called the Green Dragon, right? I'm now I identify as a fucking Green Dragon, right? My scales fell off. I am a living, epitome of Green Dragonness. And if you don't fucking call me,
that would be,
make sure your ass gets locked up. Because I am a Green Dragon. I got proof of it. I have a YouTube channel. I have all kinds of shit that shows I'm Green Dragon. But maybe tomorrow I'm going to be Mule. And you better fucking call me, but you better understand I'm a mule, half a horse, half a donkey, all jackass. And if you don't fucking call me it, I'm going to be pissed.
Or sue somebody, even better. It's better than being pissed. gonna sue somebody, get some money off of the whole deal.
Yeah, I'll sue you or I'll get you locked up. You know, and have to waste your resources to defend against my stupidity.
And you're a mule, whatever the 50th gender is, mule.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah, well, I'm a mule, right? So I'm actually like kind of a eunuch. So, you know, I can't really breed. So there, I'm not fucking any sex because I'm a hybrid of animals, right? So fuck you, I'm mule, and that is my sex, right? It's my gender, it's my identity, and it's my sex. So you better fucking count. You better just live with that shit.
Yeah, it's crazy. I mean, it's bad enough. Like, and not only that, but you have probably 100 different languages that are recognized in state documents that's sucking up resources to print off, you know, all these different government forms. And so there's no standardization of culture or language, which is a big issue.
What, you don't think it's discriminatory that you can't get welfare fucking documents in Pashto?
They probably can. What do you mean?
Well, that's what I'm saying. I mean, you know, there's only about maybe 100,000 people in the whole fucking world that actually speak goddamn Pashto. But you know what? Those motherfuckers need to be represented in California because there's maybe 5,000 of them there.
There's actually probably a few more than that, but yeah.
Well, I'm just pulling numbers out my ass, right? You know,
there's not many. It's a minority for sure.
Yeah, it's a micro minority, right? But they need to they shouldn't absorb backwards and become part of the melting pot. They need to keep their own little enclave, and we will have to cater to them.
Yeah, they're all over San Diego. There's a Afghan enclave. There's Somali. There's Kenyan. There's was it what? Well, I know there's Iraqi too. There's a bunch of them. They're all in their own little communities, you know.
Yeah, and they don't integrate for shit, right? And that's what the new America is going to look like. Is it's going to be all these little fucking racial and cultural enclaves, and we're going to just dissolve as a country.
Well, that's not. Yeah, it's not going to be a country anymore.
Yeah,
sure. But yeah, that's
in the future.
And what caught on after that is right after I saw that story about that illegal holding a state position right out in front of everybody was like a week before that, this 51st state project had been coming up for California, where they talked about separating California, where they have form a new California.
Mm-hmm.
But it covers north to south. It's not the state of Jefferson. And I was looking at it, and they've got sort of organized. They've got a statement of grievances. They've got, you know, this list of the counties that they want to be a part of this new state and how it'll be formed and this stuff. But it's like, I don't know of anybody north of Sacramento that wants to be part of San Diego governmentally, socially, culturally. There's too much of a big of a difference. It's like state of Jefferson needs to get its act together and just do it and make California stop them. It's like at this point, when you've got the federal government going toe to toe with the California government, plus all this other stuff that's, you know, when you want to list grievances, the state of Jefferson has a list of grievances, you know.
But you understand that the state of Jefferson would be a conservative state, right? It would be like instantly, if it became a state, it'd be red, right? And no way in fucking hell does California want that, right? They don't care about breaking up into like 2 blues or 3 blues, but no way in hell do they want blue and then red, right?
Right. Well, but then you just let Cali go its own way, let it be its own country. Then you have to be a state. It can be.
It would only be half a country, right? It wouldn't even be a full country because only half of California would go its own way.
Yeah.
You know, so, and it would have, it'd have so much of a less viable time. It thinks it's this fucking, it's the land of, yeah, and it's just not, because they don't understand that most of the economic power that they're getting is doing nothing other than drifting through it, right? The reason why California is such a big powerhouse these days is because the port of fucking Long Beach.
Right. What's that? I was hoping WM might come in, but we'll see if he sees it or not, because he's right there. He watches the port every day, just about.
Yeah, well, he knows better than any, people who understand, right? That where the economic power of California comes from, it's not, if it wasn't interconnected into the United States, it wouldn't have the economic power, right? So if it disconnects from the United States, unknowing to them, they're disconnecting their power. Basically, they're going to lose water, which is going to hinder their growing places, They're already losing population, right? At least productive population that are leaving in droves.
Yeah.
And if they decided to try and leave from the United States, like I said, you know what? Most of the non-coastal counties would just bail and join Jefferson or whatever fucking new option it is to stay within the United States. Especially.
Yeah, I mean, like even San Diego County and San Bernardino could join Arizona or something.
Yeah. And believe me, a lot of them are going to think about it because guess what the first thing that's going to be shut off?
Water.
Hoover Dam. Right? You want out? Good. There you go. Deal with your soap pack instead of the fucking water from Colorado.
Water
right?
And electricity to go with it.
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be in bad shape if things got really, serious to fisticuffs or whatever you want to call it. If it was we wouldn't have to go to blows because we would just cut off the water and cut off electricity and LA would just fall apart.
Well, think about this, right? So say we do that. Say they decide they want to separate into their separate countries. So then we pull our fucking military out, right? We put them in Arizona, Nevada, fucking Idaho, send half of them to fucking Texas, right? So we pull all our military out. We cut off their water and their power, and then they're going to want to do what? They're going to want to fight us with what? You've just taken all the guns away from your fucking people.
Yeah, nobody, and the people that do have them in Jefferson and whatnot aren't going to fight for them anywhere on their side.
Absolutely not. I mean, they don't want to leave in the first place. They want to become their own state and they want to do their own thing, but they want to stay within the United States. They don't want to go anywhere. They don't want to be a separate nation.
They could still buy that water at a good price,
Oh, we'll give them a nice, good deal, but we'll turn you into a third world fucking nation, right? And you know what? I mean, I hear people talk shit all the time. Oh, but what about Hollywood? Fucking Hollywood. All they are, again, that's just become a place for the corporations that put out the movies. They don't even fucking make movies in LA anymore.
Right. So many things are on location or TV. You can use a green screen anywhere. You don't have to be in Burbank anymore.
No. And I mean, look, one of the biggest shows in the past decade on television is filmed in Atlanta.
What's filmed in Atlanta?
The Walking Dead.
Oh, right. Or on location, different places, yeah. I think they've been in Virginia and Maryland lately.
Yeah, but what I mean is it's not nowhere near California, right? It's sunny Southern California where they used to make all the movies because of the weather and the natural light. People are bailing because of the tax bases and all the bullshit that you have to, all the shit you have to deal with that liberal paradise.
Yeah, definitely a paradise.
What's up, Tony?
Tony, here with us, or are you just on mute? I guess he's just here in spirit only, maybe for right now. We'll give it a chance to catch up.
Right.
But the thing is once if Cali made a move like that, I mean, they'd be overrun in part of Mexico in no time, and it'd be all downhill. They wouldn't have. I mean, they'd be so corrupt and overrun with corruption, etc., that it would be just like the rest of Mexico.
Yeah, I mean, could you imagine if we pulled out all support? California is not part of the United States anymore. What do you think the fucking cartels are going to do? First of all, they're already doing it all along our border. There's basically a border war going on down there right now, right? It's just not crossed over to us. But the cartels for the past decade have been fucking killing people all on that border. So imagine there's no border into California. California, it's its own state. It's not part of the United States anymore. Border patrol is gone. Military's gone. Everything's gone. right? What the fuck do you think the cartels are going to do? They're going to cross over from TJ and take over.
Well, they don't have to cross over. They're already operating over here. They just have to formalize more robust operations.
Yeah, right. Just come out of the woodwork and take over. You know, and who the fuck's going to stop them? LAPD, California Highway Patrol? Who? Who will be left? Because most of them will be fucking heading their happy asses back to the border of the United States too.
Yeah. Yeah, you got to figure it would definitely become an ethno state. It would definitely be demographically challenged.
But which ethnicity would grab control, right? Because not only do you have the Hispanics coming up from the border, but every day there's shiploads of fucking Chinese coming in, right? Fucking shiploads, literally cargo container loads of people coming into the fucking United States from China. You don't think China wouldn't love to see California become its own state so they could come over and say, we'll help you, and basically take it over? Of course they would.
Well, yeah, economically in particular, they just want to leverage the economics. They probably could, I mean, how much of the land have they already bought? How much of San Francisco and all these cities' property are they already leasing out and own?
Yeah. But now, as long as you're part of the United States, it's never really going to hurt us. We'll just take advantage of you, just like we did the Japanese, right? Remember when everybody thought the Japanese were going to fucking buy America, and we broke them by letting them buy America? You know?
Yeah.
And we'll do the same thing with anybody, but you have to be part of the United States for it to work, right? You know, if you're not part of our country and they come over and take all this shit over, well then there you go, fuck you. You know, now you're a vassal of China instead of being just taking advantage of China for the economic reasons, and you're still part of the United States, firmly ensconced, California, USA.
Yeah, that gets to the point of, like, you talk about, it's like, why can't we just let California go their own way? But there's too many, there's a lot to lose too if DC just let them go their own way. Like I think it was Crom mentioned in the side chat here, can't let their tax slaves go, and that would be ultimately the issue. Is like they can't lose the debt. It's all still tied to the debt-based economy. You got to have people churning out hours to be productive. So they're going to want to fight over it. You know, it'd be like the first Civil War. We couldn't just let them go peacefully. We have to fight over the whole thing.
Well, I think with California, to me at least, it would be a little bit different because it's just we need, you know, look, part of our whole defense mechanism is we own the continent, right, from sea to shining sea, and that would be a big blurb there. That'd be like, you know, fucking, and it would end up like Cuba, right? It would more than likely end up being a fucking communist vassal, and I couldn't see the powers that be letting that happen in the United States.
Right. Yeah, because it would be a short half a generation before those influences would be front and center, because it's already a socialist state. So the turn to, you know, go to that nature, being manipulated and controlled from foreign infiltrators, is not a far jump.
No, not at all. But I don't even think it would be foreign infiltrators. I think it would be like a deal with China, right? So they're already fucking in there. Shit, they're already in the state government. Does anybody remember fucking James Yee?
Oh, the arms dealer?
Yeah.
That guy? Right.
Just to clue in anybody if you don't remember, right? This was a state senator in California who was virulent anti-gun in public. Meanwhile, he was working out arms deals with China to arm street gangs in America with RPGs and full auto weaponry.
Yeah, the big stuff, not just little stuff, right?
We can own legally, right? But the stuff that you can't own legally that you actually use to, you know, fight wars, right? And it just amazes you.
Yeah. Hey, just a message from the side chat. Rooster Cogburn said he's getting tired of us bashing his state.
Sorry, Rooster. Maybe it's time for you to move.
Yeah. Well, but like I said earlier too, is it's either time to move or stand up and do something. And voting, we know, is not going to do anything. who's going to be the people that, we've all, and it gets to the point too where, yeah, you're not going to go out and start trouble. When it comes to you though, you've got to stand up. It's just a matter of if they come to the wrong person at the wrong time. That's what it's going to come down to.
But I used to have
a situation.
And sorry, Rooster, I used to have a lot of sympathy for Californians. I lived out there for a while. I love the state. I have no more sympathy. You fucking people over the past 30 years have let it get to where it is. You've had the chance to change course on your state. You never did. You keep fucking voting in the same kind of people. You keep wanting more from your state while giving less. So you've given up all your rights to your state, right? So why does the rest of the country, the people out here, bash on you so much? Because we see what you've allowed happen, and we don't want it to happen here.
I wouldn't say so much they gave it up, but they were undercut through primarily illegal immigration and forced immigration and otherwise, to where they were outnumbered without their own determination.
But it's more than that. You know what? There was times they could have started fighting this shit in the 90s, right? They didn't. They could have, every step of the way, there were chances along that way to put an end to this. And, the people of California either bought into the bullshit or just didn't have enough guts to stand up and stop it. And now they're at a point where it's almost too late.
Yeah,
it's not your fault, right? It's not anybody's fault but the people that fucking live there. And this bitching about people bashing on somebody's state, well, you're responsible for your fucking state. The reason why it's in the state it's in is because of you guys, right? So take the fucking responsibility and do something about it, or stop complaining when everybody's calling you, your state a piece of shit. You turned it into that. I didn't hear in the middle of America. I didn't have shit to do with what happened in California. Right? So if I'm going to bash it because you're not America anymore, there's barely anything American about you other than our fucking faces there. But if we can use that as an example, I could say fucking Okinawa is fucking America, and pieces of fucking Germany, and all of the 1,000 bases we have all over the world, each little one is America. Because all you got anymore is fucking bases there. Right? And that port, the one I mentioned earlier, Long Beach port, right? What happens? Shit goes through there. It leaves California. Hops on a truck, gets the fuck out, heads back to the rest of America, right? And if you guys want to go your own way, we'll just be doing it in Oregon.
Or the state of Jefferson, hopefully.
Or the state of Jefferson, right? It'll just go north.
Yeah, hopefully. I don't know that if California goes that way, that Oregon and Western Washington would soon follow. Everything basically on the Cascades crest to the west.
Could be, but what I'm saying is these people's fault. You bitch. You want to bitch about being picked on. Well, sorry, you turned into a bunch of fucking beta cucks out there. You put up with everything they fucking give you. Nobody stands for shit. Nobody will stand up, and you just keep letting it happen, and have for 30 years.
Well, can't we say the same for just pretty much every state, though? That same situation? Is there anywhere where there's a few exceptions?
There are, but that's the thing. There are exceptions. There are exceptions here in the middle, right? So remember, during the Obama administration, all of these fucking states here in the middle were doing concealed carry, and then they were going to constitutional carry, all against what the states and what the whole country said they wanted, right? Every time when you heard Louisiana or Kansas or fucking Iowa or Missouri going constitutional, first concealed carry, then constitutional, the rest of the goddamn country freaks out. Right? Wisconsin, Minnesota. I mean, we can go down the list, right, of states that are pushing back against the feds. And they're all in the middle. Right? The coastal states are all, give me more Fed control.
Well, yeah. That's the nature of the system too. Everybody's going to get milk dry.
The middle doesn't want
to be a choice. every
trying
state
to,
bought out in that respect.
but here in the middle, states are trying to push back. Not my state in particular, right? I live in another fucking blue state, right? I live in Illinois, right? A state controlled by one fucking city, you know. But all the states surrounding me, they push back hard.
You would say Indiana falls
Another one.
You think
Yeah.
they're that strong? I
I
can
don't
see
think
Missouri.
Missouri's still. Well, like, I think you understand, they're not that strong yet because they're still so dependent upon the fucking dollar of the Fed, right? So steal it from our citizens. We're stealing too, right? State governments tax their citizens too. And then they demand that the fucking feds tax their citizens as well. And then they want at least half that money back from the feds.
Oh, in the form of, block
In the
grants
form
and highway funds and everything else.
Yeah, exactly. You know, support to our cops. Oh, you give us all this ex-military equipment and we'll call that money, right? Because we save money by getting it given to us by you, you know? So all these, it all comes down to the fucking dollar, man. It all comes down to the greed, right? Greed and power, right? On the West Coast, it's greed and power, right? The greed is, you ever notice these fucking people don't take a pay cut, right? And the power is they have ultimate control over you. They can do whatever they want to people in California. You can't do shit. Can't stop it.
Yeah. Tony, I guess, had some issues. He jumped out on us just when we needed somebody else to get in here. Break up. Huh?
Always fun arguing with you.
Yeah, I'm not much to argue. I'm pretty much in agreement in a lot. Let me go out and side chat here. Back it up a little bit here. They're following along. Arizona Prepper joined us.
What's
G
up?
Mangos is with us. Jay Sparks, how's it going? Actually, Sparks, I sent you a link. If you can get in, I know sometimes you have issues, but I did send you a link if you wanted to come in and give us your perspective. In particular, I wanted the whole Jefferson issue. We started off the chat with a little bit of that. This 51st state initiative seems to be undermining the state of Jefferson initiative. It seems to be a deliberate third rail to prevent any momentum because there's really fine opportunity right now to get that going. And it seems to be losing momentum with this whole 51st state project that seems to be the new California, which is not going to go anywhere because nobody in Jefferson wants anything to do with San Diego or San Bernardino. Nobody, that's not going to go anywhere. But if you can, that's out there for you. Dozer 762 is with us, and he's up there with you, Mule. He says he's screwed as well. Boneyard Militia is with us.
Before we finish shouting everybody out, do you think that this is done deliberately, the project to gaslight or shit can, the state of Jefferson?
I don't know where the dude's from, the people that are leading it. It could be. I mean, it's definitely a possibility. I mean, I don't know enough of the background to say for sure because I don't know the guy's political involvement previous to this and everything else. There's a lot of history to that would have to be known, but it does undercut it because state of Jefferson's got 30 plus years of movement and petition and county commissions and actual elections, people voting to form the state of Jefferson. There's all this background. These people have just put out of order of grievances and put a concept out there. They're 30 years behind. But again, it goes back to they're promoting something that's not going to happen. They're promoting this concept that just the urban cities will be California. They're going to form New California based upon all the other counties that are somehow going to unite over what being Californians. Does San Diego really have something in common with everything north of Sacramento when it can just stay with LA, its border counties?
Well,
I don't
that's
know. It
why
doesn't make sense.
when I hear about this, I think it's just a way to pull steam out of the state of Jefferson, right? The state of Jefferson does have an actual history behind it already, right? Whereas these people come out of nowhere, make this fucking announcement, and all of a sudden, the media goes, "Great, we can distract from the state of Jefferson, the real issues that are there, right? Because the state of Jefferson has real issues, and there's a real reason why it wants to separate from the rest of California, right?" These people come up with something new. That's just like the idiot that said he wanted to, succeed, right? Where'd he go? He went back to fucking Russia. Right, when I talk about Russian collusion, right? But they do this kind of shit just to take the steam out of the real movement.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. And it takes the media, of course, they're told to focus in on that, the 51st state one that we know is not going to go anywhere, and ignore the real progress that the state of Jefferson could be doing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's the way I see it. Because, again, when you look at their concept of all these counties from the south all the way to the north uniting as a state and leaving out basically Sacramento, the Bay Area, and LA, and maybe one or two counties conjoined to those, that doesn't fly. Because Orange County and San Diego, San Bernardino, nobody in the north with MODOK has any interest in being aligned with them. They already are. They're leaving for a reason. The Jefferson Project was a purpose to get away from that.
Yeah.
But that's just me. Maybe not just me, but my thoughts.
But I think a lot of people see it the similar way we do. I mean, so just as an example, you and I are diametrically different, right? But it's funny how we actually see a lot of things the same way. I believe that's true of a lot of people, right? I don't think we're these special people who think the way we do. I think we're just some of the dummies that actually speak up.
Right. We're not afraid to be hit in the head the first mole that pops up.
Yeah. I mean, it makes me laugh how you and I are so much in tune, even though we don't talk much. We're thousands of miles away, right? And yet similar concepts come to both of us at similar times, so we can't be unique. We're not fucking snowflakes. I'm so far from a snowflake, it's funny. I'm a mulish green dragon, and you better make sure you fucking, that's my gender too. But
yeah, you got to copyright that.
Yeah, I'm telling you. But it's just hilarious, so I don't think we're alone in thinking the same things or seeing things in a similar way.
Yeah. Hey Tony, what's up? You got everything solved now?
I think so. I thought it was my audio.
And it's not?
I don't know. How do I sound?
You sound fine now.
Somebody's got that transformer explosion sound going on.
It's probably me, because I'm sitting around a billion radio waves here in a radio.
Right on.
That's why I couldn't really talk much over at Kansas's chat too, because it seems like I was going off like crazy there too. So
I can hear you good.
Tony Norte.
Like Google can't. Gotta fuck with their algorithms, bro. I gotta change up the names. It's gotta be like casino. I change cars like 7-8 times before I get where I'm going. Yeah.
Always gotta be on the down low.
They still get you by facial recognition, buddy. You got to start, wearing a mask.
It's too late. Too late for that. There's too many photos out there, Tony.
Way too many. What are you guys talking about? I'm like hearing it, and then we're talking about California.
Yeah, we started off talking about California and the whole I mean, they have an illegal in government. Like, why is Jefferson not acting and moving? And then they have this 51st state project that seems to be distracting from it. All the issues of California, like what's it really going to take if something doesn't happen in California when somebody, an aggrieved party, stands up, like what's it going to take for anywhere else in the country,
I think I was talking to my buddy in Texas, and I've been telling him for a while, like, I don't know, it's California is the model for Texas and Florida. New York's already basically there. I mean, these states will be like, like a diagram for these states, and all those California folks that are supposedly running away to escape all this crap are just going to these other bigger states. And then you got, Austin's a shithole. Like it's gonna be terrible soon.
Austin, Texas.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
You know what? They just got to keep putting out the IEDs that they keep doing over in Austin. It'll clean itself up, right? They'll blow them all up.
I just feel like they got Florida, they got Colorado, they get these different states, and if they can get a little bit of something, a little bit of loss of liberty here, a little bit of loss of liberty. I mean, people ain't gonna gain back anything they lose. So I think all these big states will follow suit and be like California, and then it'll be all up to all us little states to not follow suit, I think. But
I don't see Texas following the California model.
I don't know, man. California is a lot less free than people like to pump up and talk about out there. I mean, it's a police state big time.
Yeah, Texas is not as free as most people like to think, but I don't see Texas following the California model.
I don't know about all the way, but I mean, I could just see the people that are moving there, and they're moving there en masse. Shit is changing there. I mean, Austin's always been kind of liberal, right? But I mean, Texas in general is turning a lot more liberal, and it's a police state.
Stop buying the hype, Tony. That was like, oh, Texas is going to turn blue. Look at all this fucking blue wave that came out for the primaries, and it turns out, no, not so much. Stop buying all the hype. So many people. This is the problem with fucking. You have to be so careful when you watch any kind of media these days, because all it is propaganda, and it's
I don't care if it turns blue or red or whatever, one way or another. I mean, people on the right are just up for loss of their rights and loss of liberty for a sense of security, just like the leftists are. So I mean, the leftists in California may do it one way to their damnation, but Texas and these other states, they're on their way. I mean, I just don't. There's no difference between either of them. And Texas, to me, has never really been that free. Not to mention all the people they fucking kill each year. Like, that motherfuckers are fucking nut. They're not joking around out there. That's police state, and people are proud of it. They're like, fuck yeah.
I don't know, man. In some case, I'm a pro death penalty guy. Especially, look, I just read this article just a couple of days ago about this fucking cop. He assassinated 2 cops in New York, and they let him free. He did 20-something years in the pen. He had multiple life sentences. This is why I believe in the death penalty. If somebody does that, if they murder people and admit it, and they admit they assassinated somebody, they should lose their fucking life. They should never be let back.
I'm not even arguing that. I'm just saying Texas is one of those states, just like Florida, just like Virginia. You don't fuck around, because the law in those states are not fucking around, and the police state is thick in those states. Texas, Virginia, Florida. I've been, stationed down in Florida, all over Florida, and they told us the same thing in VA. Like, don't fuck around out here. I don't care that you're from Vegas. Don't come out here and fuck around. You know what I mean? Yeah. People are proud of that shit. I mean, I understand, like a fucking stern sheriff and all that, and following the law and shit, but then there's just too much cheering of the police state. And I don't care if the left does it or the right does it, it all ends up being the same thing in the end. You know what I mean? Maybe
Mhm.
Texas won't be exactly like California, but I think Nevada's more free than Texas. I don't have to get no fucking card to open carry. You know?
Hey, I live in the People's Republic of Illinois, so I wouldn't know. You know?
I mean, but I think it's the case for all these states, so that's where it's going to go. I mean, Florida was getting a piece of anti-gun legislation that's unconstitutional. They got no fucking right to be doing anything like that, yet they are. And the people, yeah, there's gonna be some lawyers, and the NRA might sue or something. But come on, the NRA's in on this shit. I'm so sick and tired of hearing people, talking about the NRA. But I don't know, man. I hope it's us little states, us smaller states that decide, to not go with the rest of these fuckers, because we're about to hit 3 million. That's the news the other day. Nevada's about to hit 3 million people.
Jesus, man, that's barely Brooklyn.
That's the whole state. It's crazy. It's good though. I mean, they say that 2 million, 2.4 is down, 2.3 to 2.4 is down here, and the other 600,000 or whatever is up there with HD and the rest of northern Nevada. So I mean, it's all down here. Even up where they are, I don't think they got 600,000. I think, and they probably got like 300,000, 400,000.
Man, you are a small state.
Yeah. Well, that sucks, because that leaves all that room for them Californians to move over here.
Yeah, and that should be your biggest problem, is all those transplants.
Problem is they got to change everything about Nevada. You know what I mean? The way that Nevada is, and what I mean, if we don't, even the way they're trying to diversify and shit and do other stuff, if they take away gaming, just for example, Californians move here and then they outlaw gaming. They bankrupt the state. We don't have a state no more. I mean, we have military money and we got gold money, but you take away gaming and entertainment, the casinos.
But California wouldn't, right? California loves having Vegas as Sin City, its playground, right? Before it was a worldwide or nationwide playground, it was basically California's, right? I mean,
do they shut down all the gun manufacturers here? Do they shut down all the gun ranges that are right there behind the strip now as part of the tourist deal? I mean, because Vegas isn't just, it is gaming, but these fools are making money off all the shit that's right there too. The entertainment factor, shows, dinners, the gun ranges that are. I mean, there's so many gun ranges.
Okay, why would they shut down the gun ranges when you have to go there to rent, right? You're not taking a gun in or out of there, right? Right now you are, but like say Battlefield Vegas, right? They'll give them a license. They'll let them continue to do it. Why? Because it would fulfill a need, right? For those people like us that would love to shoot guns, well, you got to go to Battlefield Vegas. That's where you can get your little gun Jones out in Vegas. Just like think about prostitution, right? The rest of the country is not going to end prostitution in Nevada, because they can say, look, you can go to Nevada. That's where it's legal. That's where you can go fuck whores if you want to, and nobody's going to say shit, right? We'll keep it illegal here everywhere else, but you can go there and do it, right? So technically, you still have that little bit of freedom. You can go there and pay for your sex, right? Or you can go there and pay to use a gun that's owned by this corporation, but you can go ahead and do that, and we'll call that freedom. So will they leave all that shit running? 100%, man. 100%.
Yeah, but do they chain legislation and fuck everything up for everybody living here in Vegas? Like, I mean,
Look at Colorado, Tony.
People wanting to even live here. Oh, I gotta pay to go to the strip. You know what I mean? People that live here don't go to the strip. I don't go to the strip.
No, when I lived there, I never went to the strip either. You know, after the first week I fucking moved from California to Nevada, I was like, oh, this is cool. I can get a cheap steak, but what the fuck? This is too many assholes.
Yeah, I mean, back in the day, I'd say like 98 and before that, you still had what Vegas was about, even like as it was retreating, you know, and it was just like downtown maybe. But you still had the Vegas stuff. Now they've chased it almost out of everything. They're ripping down all the old ones downtown now.
Well, think it's Tony. Times Square used to be, you know, Times Square used to be, you know, synonymous with Ubers and bad people, whatever. Now it's all fucking Disney. You know?
That shit's out of control how corny that shit is now.
Times Square used to be the essence of New York, right? Heart of New York City, literally. And now it's just another fucking Disney goddamn theme park.
It's funny because we would go down there and it's just like, let me see, 2008, the last time I was there. Straight movie theaters and like candy shops and M&M factory. It's basically like what they've turned the strip into also. The strip is the same way. M&M factory, Coca-Cola factory, you know what I mean? Souvenir shops, Starbucks, fucking Walgreens, every fucking other block. I mean, how many Walgreens do you fucking need, dude? Same thing on the strip. It's like a cookie cutter. Every block is maybe a different casino, but then it comes with the same set of bullshit. And it's the same thing in Times Square. Like you'll have the movie theater, and then you'll have all the side bullshit, the fucking tourist shit, and it's I don't know. They've closed down a lot of that, like actual Times Square. Like you can only drive partially through it now. It's not all open like it used to be.
You mean like Fulton? How it used to be a fucking street?
I know that, what is it, 42nd and what is Times Square, 42nd and Broadway? 42nd
Broadway, yep.
Something like that. I don't know. If you look, I saw the pictures of it recently. Any movie, or whatever, you look at Times Square, it's fucking all diced up. There's like bleachers in the middle of it.
Yeah, it's a joke now. But I mean, the old Vegas Strip, dude. Now they've put a cover over it. You know, I remember riding my bike down the fucking old Vegas Strip, parking in front of fucking Binion's, and going and taking my picture in front of the $1 Million. You know?
Yeah, shit changes for the worse. But I tell you what, dude, I'm a holdout in here for as long as it takes. I mean, we didn't even begin to fight here in Nevada, anyways. You know, like, so I'm here. This is where I plan to raise the kids, the grandkids. I mean, if something comes up in the next state over, Utah or Arizona, but I'll still be in this fight because I got 702 tattooed on my arm. So I better, you know, but I'm hoping, you know.
I'm going to leave that
we stand fast.
Your ex-wife's name tattooed on your ass? So we're going to leave that one.
I think that every time something comes up here, though, so far that we've somehow like managed to skirt around it. Like I want to say 05, they did this smoking ban where they did the smoking bans all over the country. If you were in a bar or whatever, you know, you could not smoke in that fucking place. Here they try to make it, if you serve food, then you could not smoke. So they they pass a law or whatever, and they tried to enforce it. So what a lot of bars did, they split the bar in half. One half of the bar you could eat and drink, and the other side of the bar you could smoke and drink and gamble and shit. So that lasted for like a couple years, and there was no enforcement of the shit. There was no way there's too many bars here in Vegas. Like, you know, there's too many bars anywhere. You know, so they had a hard time enforcing it. That shit's out the window. So then they did the gun thing when Trump got elected. You know, they passed the universal background check. Well, they have no way to enforce it, so it's business as usual. Like every time they've tried to do some fuckery out here and infringing on people's rights out here, as far as like that kind of stuff goes, it's like there's no enforcement. So this is fucking Nevada. People are gonna do what the fuck they were doing, you know. I guess
America, right? So remember, Colorado, right after the Vegas shooting, Colorado, Denver put in a bump stock ban. They were one of the first people to put it in, right? One of the first areas. Nobody's turned them in. Nobody.
I know, but when you get pulled over and caught with one, that's when you're gonna get butt fucked, you know. I mean, I know exactly what you're saying. Even when the Connecticut, all this different thing, you know.
Right. But it's not. It's they can put all the fucking laws they want on the books, and nobody will follow them. And the more laws
come in there, if they come in there, I know they wouldn't, but if they start coming into the bars in Vegas and handing out felonies because you're breaking the law, you know what I mean? Motherfuckers are not going to do what they do. You know what I mean? I guess it's the enforcement, and then the way that they choose to enforce some stuff and the way they can't enforce. It's just all funny, but every time they've tried some shit here in Nevada so far, we're like kind of skirting around it. So I have hope.
But the law, not taking the laws off the books. All those laws are still there.
Still there. Yep, you're right.
Right. So even though they around where I live, they don't enforce that you can't smoke in bars either, right? But the only time you can't smoke in a bar is when there's a cop at a bar. You know what I'm saying?
And what's he doing anyways?
On that though, the cops shouldn't be enforcing that anyway. That's like a health inspector role. That's not even the cop's job to enforce that.
Right. But what I'm saying is, like all laws, right? The only time that that people really worry about them is when there's a cop around, right? How many people text when they drive or watch fucking movies or talk on their phone, even though it's illegal to do? The only time they put their phone down is when there's a cop behind them.
Well, we've been I don't know, man. We've been lucky enough, I guess, to get around some shit, or people are still going around it, whatever. But you're right, the laws are still there. So if they ever decide to come down, or if whatever agency wants to come around and extort whatever business, they can too, you know?
Yeah. I mean, look, it's against the law to use, buy, distribute, sell, own drugs, right? And marijuana, perfect example, Class A schedule federal drug, right? Fucking illegal across the United States, except the fact that people stop listening. People never really listen, right? So it's a law that's only enforceable when you get caught. And to me, that's a useless fucking law. All it is about control. That's all any fucking law. They might not enforce them yet. It might be on the books for a whole fucking generation before they start enforcing it.
It's funny because when they do the drug tests, though, for the most part, the only thing they're really looking for, if you think, maybe they don't say that that's what they're looking for, but the only thing that stays in your system forever is weed, you know. It's I don't know. I think all that kind of stuff is just designed to fucking extort this person here, do this, you know what I mean? Because I was telling HT, I was applying for some good fucking jobs today, bro. And their shit is like,
Tony was not talking to me today. Whoever heard that?
2 to 3 years out. All I'm saying is 2 to 3 years out for some smoke, bro. 2 to 3 years out. You know how ridiculous that is? What if you fucking bam, I changed my life around, as if your life was fucked up because society said it in the first place, but you change your shit around. You gotta wait 3 fucking years, bro? That is insane. I mean, damn, bro.
So all those positions you were talking about, or
no, the one.
Oh, just the one of them. Okay,
the one down under.
Right.
It didn't say that it disqualified me, but it was a question on there, and it was like the way they were asking it. Yeah, that's definitely going to be It says this may affect.
Truthfully,
Huh?
did you tell the truth?
Yeah, hell yeah.
Why? I would say I never smoked marijuana in my fucking life. You're already bald, so they're not going to get your fucking hair. And then if you work out for a month, you'll get rid of the fat cells.
Bro, I'm not Hillary, okay? I'm not Hillary. I can't lie.
Look, well, then, sorry for you, man.
I can't lie to those people.
They asked a stupid ass question, and I told them the truth they wanted to hear, not the truth that was actual.
No, yeah. You know what I figured, dude, on a couple of these things that I was doing, like I'm just gonna put it on there. I mean, whatever, I'm not even gonna worry about it because then I'll never ever have the feeling of, well, I didn't tell them this. You know what I mean? I'm talking about for the good ones. Any other job? Yeah, I know what you mean, but bro, I'm shooting from like half court right now. I'm like, you know what I'm saying?
You have to do what you have to do. But to me personally, I'm, gonna fucking, make you not do your job, right? Whatever the job is. And if that's all they're worried about, then I'm going to tell them what they want to hear. Because if the job is something that my dream job, and they're telling you you have to wait 3 years from the last time you took a puff on a joint,
I'm pretty sure it's not. Not Tony's dream job.
That's the crazy part.
It's like most jobs. Once you get in, they're not piss testing you anymore. Once you get in, they're not asking any of those fucking questions. Look, many jobs in the world tell you can't do this, that, or the other thing, but the second you get on a job, you find out everybody's a fucking cokehead, right?
Yeah, I mean, I get what you're saying, but this one is not. Yeah, that's not flying, bro.
Unless they're checking my DNA. I
thought I read most of the fine print, but if I did, it probably said something about DNA in there.
Look, to me, right? That's the word. If they hire you and you do a good job, and they find out later that you smoked weed 10 years ago, and they're going to fire you over it, that's the worst thing they can do.
They'll bring you back and fire you again.
That's
no, okay. I didn't mean to get off topic. I just meant that it's funny because it is definitely used to either extort people or manipulate people. All of it, you know what I mean? So, I mean, I can't get what I want. I'm not like underqualified for something because of that, hypothetically.
I would call it, if they even ask the question, say they're going against your culture because you're Hispanic, right?
Okay.
So I say they're being discriminating against you because of your culture, even asking the question.
I identify as. No, I literally identify.
What's your name?
It's off.
Tony talk to himself now, or talking to water?
No, I'm talking to my girl. It is off. The camera is off. Oh, put the duct tape over the camera? She watched Snowden, that's why.
Well, I do that when I'm not talking to you guys.
Here, I'll put a piece of...
That's a good practice.
There you go. Now it's blocked. Oh, man. Well...
What got you guys off subject? What were you guys talking about?
I'm just killing time.
Saying Vegas or saying Nevada would hold its ground while the whole world's crumbling to shit.
Hopefully. The pretty much refusal to comply mentality.
Yeah, I mean, we have so far with some shit, but I mean, we've adopted other bullshit,
Well, see, this is what I mean, though, Tony. There's so many the refusal to comply is an inherently American thing, it seems. Everywhere they've implemented some of these new fucking laws, people are just not dealing. They're saying, no, you can write down on paper whatever the fuck you want, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to comply. You know what I mean?
And we were talking that Nevada's gonna hit 3 million like sometime. I think.
Yeah, we're probably over 3 million. They just haven't done when the official census comes out, we'll probably be at like 3.2.
Well, there you go. Yeah, so we were talking about just Nevada and fucking kind of got off subject, but
yeah,
I thought that was an interesting
being
one.
invaded by Californians directly relates.
Yeah, I mean that's what is the worrisome thing, you know? Will they? I mean, and if they come here, is it going to fall on deaf ears? Is their communism going to fall on deaf ears? And are they going to like have mental breakdowns? I mean, I don't know what are they going to do. You hear?
It's the little things. It's the little things that are going to eat away. It's the zoning rules, and they don't like the way their neighbors live. And it was so nice and peaceful, and they had all these safety things in place with the government where they're from. They have more. We need more police. We need more services. We need a movie theater in town. How do we get a? I hear it here all the time in these. Out here in, not necessarily rural Nevada, but small town Nevada, and you get these transplants in here, and they're all like, well, it'd be just a little bit better, if we had a movie theater, if we had this store, and we had this, because it would be, that much more comfortable. And so it's all these California comfort items that they bring with them that inch their way in, and that always brings the other stuff with it.
Well, think about
incrementalism for sure.
HD, right? So I remember back in the day, maybe 90, there was a big problem in Riverside County, right, in California, of farms, right? Used to had livestock on their land. Well, then the people that were moving out of the cities and up into the rural areas of California would move in next door, and then all of a sudden start complaining to their local councils about why does this guy next door to me have chickens? His chickens bother me in the morning. Well, you fucking moved there. You knew the chickens were there when you fucking moved there, right? Now that you're there, you think that you should have control over the person who's been there for 100 years, right? And so they come in and they get enough of them, and then all of a sudden they do have control. Now chickens are banned in that part of Riverside County, say, and even though you've had chickens on this land for 100 years, you got to slaughter them and get them the fuck off because your neighbor who's trigendered and is living with another trigendered person doesn't want to be woken up in the morning.
That's a funny story. There was a story a couple of weeks ago, Mule, we looked at in the morning chat. It was talking about how it's trendy in the Bay Area now, where the Google execs live and everything else. It's trendy to have chickens now. There was this whole article about there's the people that go and they what's the word, counsel, or they're contractors. What's the word for it? Chicken consulting. They go in there and consult people on how to build a chicken coop and how to raise chickens and the right chickens to get for the kind of eggs they want. They specifically talked about, they have Easter egg layers, have colored eggs, like all natural chickens, that are outside a big farm.
Guys up. Are they in Vegas?
Who?
Can I get a chicken coop for like my apartment? Is that what
how much you want? How much you want, Tony? I'll name you my price. I'll come down and do it for you.
All right. I need a couple eggs a day. So how many chickens do I need for that?
Yeah, but it was bizarre. But is that what you're talking about, Mule? And I'll bet you those people are zoned not to have farm animals, and chickens are probably considered farm animals.
Of course.
But they're getting away with it because they have the money to, pay for it.
You run over to Stockton. You run some bad neighborhood in fucking Stockton where the people who have chickens in their backyards actually use them to keep the motherfuckers, right? This is the way they survive. And yet they'll get fined, right? Because the city will come in and say you're not allowed to have farm animals here.
Right.
seen that shit all over the country, and I've especially seen it in California. And they're going to do the same thing when they come out their way. Right? They're going to end up with a neighbor who's on the back end of your back fence, and they're not going to like the fact that you see a goat every once in a while and it bleats.
Yeah.
You know, or
yeah, that's an issue. Like you're saying, not only so it's widespread outside the cities in California, but they're moving over here. I hear it like community meetings, county minutes or county commissioner minutes. You read those, and there's always somebody getting up saying their neighbor has horses or the smell or something. It's not every single time, but it's anecdotal enough to be like it's been long standing. I mean, we're talking 20 years now, you know, of this going on.
yeah, and you constantly just want to look over at these people and say, well, why the fuck did you move here? You knew the fucking horse farm was right there, and you were downwind of the shit pile. But you fucking moved there, and now you want me to move my shit pile.
I think that's why my neighbors are happy I moved next to them, because people that here lived here previously didn't have any animals. Maybe like two residences before I moved here, the people had horses or whatever, but the people that moved in next door, the old lady lived here before, didn't have anything, and they were probably concerned who was going to move in would probably complain about their horses, because they have a bunch of horses and they have those things. But ever since we've moved in, I think that I've noticed like they built up now. They've built a barn. They're putting fencing in. They're like they're getting into it, like building up their horses and stuff. Like now they're not concerned about their neighbors complaining. I think because they don't complain about me.
How complain about horse shit when they're smelling goat shit?
Right. Don't forget pigs.
Okay, but the point is,
what's worse, being invaded by Southern Californians or Northern Californians?
Southern.
That's what I was thinking.
I mean, I don't know. It really depends on where they're from. I mean, some people from Northern California are fine. Some people from Southern California are fine if they're from rural San Diego County. But if they're from any of the urban areas,
I mean, there's even rural Orange County. You know, you'll find Orange County used to be a deep red enclave. You know, and then the rich libtards are moving there. You know.
Jerry Brown is how long can you be the governor, man? I thought you can only be the governor like twice.
I don't think they have term limits in California, do they?
Well, he's the governor of life, don't you know?
Something's going on over there, man. And to think that the people are, you know what's really irritating me? I'll tell you what's really irritating me is these fucking guns that I keep seeing come out. All these little side steps, you know what I mean, to these California and New York gun laws, these half a guns. It's just like, I get it that you can the law could come up with anything and then they'll sidestep it. But how about just having some backbone, not letting it happen, and you wouldn't have to do all that. I see them half guns, and it pisses me off. These new magazines, like you can load the magazine with the stripper clip now. That's
after you weapon.
It's crazy, dude. It's getting out of control, and I mean.
You know, earlier, Tony, before you jumped in, Rooster Cogburn we were kind of bagging on Cali, right? And Rooster Cogburn was getting a little butthurt because he's like, oh, stop bagging on my state. Well, it's hard to when they have to come up with a redesign on a firearm to fit the fucking state's laws, right? So now you have to totally disconnect the firearm to be able to load it. Even though its design was to make it easy of loading, they've turned around and had forced people to redesign it to make it hard to load. And they say, well, at least we still got our guns. Then you ain't got shit. You barely got permission to have a fucking pea shooter. You know? I don't know what to tell people. And I've been telling people for years, right? Even though people are friends of mine, fuck you, move the fuck out of California. There's no saving that.
Yeah. I've got friends over there too. Same thing.
I got a letter just before I forget. I got a letter from the IRS that somebody tried to file. What do you call it?
Under your name?
Under my name, yeah.
Huh?
Or under my social, yeah.
You should have been like, I wasn't getting no refund anyway.
No, that's crazy because yeah, that's just another. And remember last year, my tax returns were stolen out of the office, out of the H&R Block office. I did a video about that.
What? I don't remember that.
Yeah, last year after I did my taxes, my tax returns were still like the copies of them were already filed, but whatever they had backed up in the office, my shit was stolen.
So is the FBI really that desperate they got to go steal your IRS file?
I guess.
Oh, somebody needed his social security number so they could jump a fucking border, come in here and work, and then steal his money.
Yeah, so somebody filed with the IRS. So I don't know what my follow up is. It's like it's kind of getting ridiculous.
Who filed? You were them.
What's that?
Who filed first? You were them.
I already got my money.
Oh, you talking about last year?
No, it's saying I guess this year. They stole my tax return bullshit last year after I filed. So like, I filed in February, maybe like March, April, or something like that, around the same time that somebody tried to file this year using my social. I got the letter right here. I could shoot you a picture of it. HD.
I'm good.
See it. I'd love to about it because it has to go to an address or a bank account. So if this person filed a false fucking claim, which is illegal, right? So are they going to enforce it, or are they just going to go, oh, that's another border brother. Let's double up Tony's fucking tax return and give him the second one. You know?
Yeah, it's kind of like whatever. I might as well just file as many deductions as I can throughout the year so I get no tax return at the end of the year. That's what I need to do.
Oh, that's what I owed Uncle Sugar money, until the very end.
Yeah, but I mean, I don't see myself making so much money. I think I'll probably just break even, or they'll still probably owe me a little bit. If you
all your deductions during the year, then Uncle Sugar doesn't get as much, right? And so, because remember, it's not a savings fucking account. It's them stealing your goddamn money and then eventually giving you a little pittance back, saying, "Here, we took a little too much. We stole a little too much from you.
And made interest of it.
Here's a little bit back, so you'll shut the fuck up and think you won something."
And that insurance ain't no joke either. Like, that shit's crazy.
I'll be right back.
The whole thing, man. It's all the whole shit. It's one big scam. I tell you what.
Yeah, I don't remember that. I don't remember that from last year. I may have been tied at my own IRS stuff. I don't know. I don't remember you saying that.
Yeah, I forget around when it was, but it wasn't that long after I filed. And they were the actual office. It wasn't even like H&R Block. It was like that office right down the street where I filed. Right. And then like that cabinet. I swear, I think that's what it said. A cabinet with yours or something like that. Maybe I was just exaggerating thinking about it right now, but for sure, yeah, it was the office, and it was, I guess, paperwork. I'm guessing. Could have stole some computers, I guess.
Right.
It is, man. I don't got much, It's not like I really got anything, but still, that sucks.
Yeah, because you never know when it's going to come back to bite you. I mean, they can hold on to that stuff for years before they use it.
Yeah.
That's the worst thing about that identity theft stuff.
I'm gonna have to get that LifeLock.
Right? Yeah. Yeah, that's a booming business right there.
It is. They're like, you give us your social security number, and we'll take care of you.
Hey, here's this is pretty good. It's funny because I keep looking in the side chat. In the old days, we would talk about the side chat because when you replay it, you couldn't see the side chat. So we always want to have it recorded, for for posterity. Well, now that whole side chat replays when the video replays, so people that are watching can see it as we're talking about it. So I got to get used to just referring to it in the site. I don't know. It's a different way of looking at it. But anyway, Truth Free says out there, a good joke for you. Heard the difference between government and organized crime? That's the question. Well, one is organized. That's pretty good. Yeah, the government is definitely not organized. That's probably a good example. We got Poison Stinger joined us out there in the side chat. Truth Freeze. Boneyard Militia's with us. And Boneyard says we're getting taxed out of existence. I don't know that it's not so much getting taxed out of existence, but getting taxed to be able to be controlled. It's making it so that, and not only tax, but inflationary policy. The inflationary dollar is the biggest thing there, Boneyard, is that's what's really putting us out of existence and controlling us, is that inflationary currency. America Died in 1913's with us. All right. What was that? Restroom break, Mule?
I had to hit the head, and it's getting fucking cold again. Damn it, we had a couple of nice days, and now it's fucking freezing.
Yeah, that's spring for you.
Yeah, I know. Especially working third shift. Especially out in the train yard for the most part. The fucking wind just comes through like a tunnel.
Dang, what were we talking about? I got sidetracked there. We're talking about taxes. Totally wasn't prepared for that.
Wild Irons at me.
Yeah, he says he's working. That's what he told me.
Yeah. Well, we both work nights, so he'll just send me shit. You know what I mean?
All right. I think plus where he works and stuff, he's not exactly a coverage area to chat.
Oh, believe me, there's spaces here where everything just goes. There's dead zones here in Illinois too. That's why, even though there's a lot of radio signals here where I'm at, I know I get good coverage from, so I can be able to do this. Whereas some of the yards, shit, I don't get anything. I'm stuck reading a book.
That's probably a good thing sometimes.
It is. Look, the funny thing is the country may be going to shit, but right now, for me at least, I'm kind of happy because I'm ignoring most of this shit. It's easy to get up in it so deeply, so often. We've all done it, right? So leaving most of it just to the side at times, it's good for you.
Oh, for sure.
Because I like doing YouTube and I'm getting fucking censored. I was asking HD, can I, you think I can upload a gun video, just a handgun video, to my channel? Or am I going to get, I can't get, I only get 2 more, I guess. I get 2 more and then I'm out. 2 more strikes and I'm out of here.
You're talking about the Tactical Tony channel, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that it's done, man. They're going to come after. They're going to shut it down. They'll find a way, or you'll shut it down yourself, I think. I mean, you can let it ride as long as you want, I think, but
don't fucking monetize. That's been the key, at least for me. Is I don't monetize shit, right? And I back in the day. That's how I've been able to fight everything with the Dragon and win. Is nothing's monetized. I'm not looking for $1. I'm just looking to be able to put my speech out there.
I think they'll shut you down for breaking community guidelines still, regardless.
Dude, we didn't break community guidelines on the Dragon, okay? And I fought tooth and nail to keep every one of those alive, right? And my main excuse is, look, none of this You don't have to put a single fucking ad on it. It's not monetized.
But that's different than the community guideline strikes are different than.
Well, I've won everything, right? Because they give me community guidelines, and I just keep.
I got hate speech.
Remember when his
Yes, Stinger's free speech chat.
Yeah, the free speech chat. I fight that on a basis. Okay, on a month, I deal with YouTube over that. They've tried to strike that video. Fuck, it's had to be at least 100 times now, because that's like almost 2 years old. And at least once a week, not once a month, I'm getting a fucking strike on that video. I fight it under free speech, and I win. The video's still there in the Dragon.
Right.
And he did it because I knew why he did it. I approved of him doing it. I didn't give a shit when anybody getting butt hurt, right? And I continue to fight on it.
There's definitely something to be said for being a target, because Tony's channel got all these attacks on it. The Dragon did. But yeah, I can have a chat over here with the same people. You guys don't change. You might clean up your act a little bit over here, but it's still got language and everything else.
I don't.
I've never had a community guidelines even email me about anything. You know, all these years, it's like you figured at least once something would have came up. You know, we've had trolls go through all the communities, but it's just interesting how they target certain channels, because it's not like me and Tony aren't known to be collaborators together or anything.
We're associated, and we have been for a long time. So you would think that they would try and attack all three of them. Tony not. Right? Tony gets hit all the time. I get hit all the time. Tony loses some of his fights. You know all mine. I'm not any different than Tony. Why do I get in the Dragon fights when he has to lose on the 702 fights? And the fights are exactly the fucking same. And he's actually a little bit, how can you say, a little bit less. He won't say some of the shit that we've said in the past in the Dragon on his own channel. I just don't know.
Right. Yeah. Yeah. Well, since we got a new guest on here, let's let them introduce themselves. Is it the General with us?
Sergeant Major.
Hey, good evening, Saints. How you doing?
Pretty good. What's going on, gentlemen?
We complained about California a little bit. We complained about taxes. Taxes are always a good subject. Now we're just moving on to censorship.
Excellent. Excellent.
Well, AHD, if you don't mind, why don't you bring up the one about the guy who in Florida who got his guns confiscated?
That most recent story on the new law. So there was the guy, and he's in Broward County as well. So this is the first beta test that I would say they've done. And this came out last week, the 16th. Was that Friday?
Yeah.
Yeah, Friday. This is Friday evening. Yeah, it was issued on Friday, so this happened on Friday. So they issued an order temporarily removing guns from a person under their new law. It was 4 rounds, 267 rounds of ammunition removed from a 56-year-old Lighthouse Point man, wherever that is, in Broward County. He was determined to be a potential risk to himself or others. The guns and ammunition have been temporarily removed under the state's new risk protection law, which is also sometimes called red flag legislation. The man who was also taken to a hospital for involuntary psychiatric treatment under the Baker Act, but the civil ruling removing access to guns and ammunition was granted under the new legislation, which permits the confiscation for people who have not been committed but are deemed a potential risk to themselves or others, according to the order signed by Broward Chief Judge Jack Tutor. So that's part of the new law that's passed in California. Let's see if we get a little more. Now, we talked about this a couple weeks ago when these issues were coming up. Most states have a hold they can do on somebody for mental evaluation for a certain period of time, whether it's 48 hours, 96, 72. Just about every state has this sort of civil procedure to go before a judge to have you committed for a evaluation for a certain period of time if you're determined to potentially be a threat to yourself or others. But now they're up in the ante with this pre-confiscation scheme. So even while you're not in your own residence, you're in this facility being evaluated. They take the firearms from your own house where you're not even at. They're taking your property you don't have access to anyway because you're not there. So it's I mean, look at he's an older guy. It's obviously a beta test, in my opinion. They go after easy target, somebody who is not going to put up a fight, somebody who doesn't want to put up a fight, and they're testing the law to see if it sticks and see if people are going to roll over for it.
And of course they will, because we've already had guys like I said, I was talking to Tack Daddy about it, and he's rolled over for it. He's like, yeah, I guess this might be a good thing because this guy was blah, 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 right? He's talking to himself on the side of the road or some shit. Or says that Obama's killed him fucking 10 years ago, whatever their excuse is, right? But people are more, look, they are ready to roll over for anything at this point. We are a fucking nation of sheep. Okay? So that's why this beta. You know, when you got guys like Tack Daddy, right? He's supposed to be a big guy, 100%, blah, blah, blah. I go to these gun shows. I talk to the industry people, right? But totally for this thing, totally okay with this guy getting arrested, totally good with all of it. Oh, they felt that he may have been a danger. Guess what's going to happen next? Once this is locked in and everybody's okay with it, you're going to be the next fucking danger. And the only dangerous thing is you own firearms. So that must automatically make you a danger to the universe because you happen to like firearms. And that'll be enough to take them.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it goes on. This story, let me link it out in the side chat too so people can look up what we're talking about. A couple of years ago, another city resident was involuntarily committed for psychiatric help after a domestic. Police took his guns for safekeeping. A very short time after the man was released from the hospital, he demanded the return of his firearms. Police were still concerned for his well-being and the safety of others, but eventually officers agreed to release the guns to a family member. So this was years ago. They were withholding this guy's property even with no legal basis. That wasn't challenged then. This is something that even flew under the radar previous to this incident. So they've been getting away with this stuff for years. It probably isn't only there either. We just don't hear about it. There's probably hundreds of cases.
You know, they Baker Act people for a lot of stuff, though. They Baker Act people for drinking, for drug problems, for gambling problems.
Well, like I said, this was a domestic. This wasn't even.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you get a domestic, they're disqualified. You might as well go out and commit a felony because same shit.
Yeah. That's why it's, you know, it's just, it's one of those, we constantly like to think we're the land of the free, and yet we haven't been since, you know, probably the turn of the 21st century, you know, or the 20th century, I should say.
And then after they give you these things, like give you the felony or give you whatever scarlet letter they're gonna give you, then you can't even fucking reintegrate into society or do anything halfway worse shit. And what are you supposed to do after that? You know what I mean? Might as well fucking embrace that shit after that.
Start practicing your bow and arrow or get you a crossbow, I guess. I don't know.
Fuck no, you just go all the way fucking. I mean, they make a criminal out of you. They call you a criminal. You end up being a criminal.
Is a good plug. Wingman had a good couple of videos a while back on bows and arrows and stuff. So if you get to that point, you got some good reference material. Yeah,
We're waiting for it to be of any use.
What's that?
If we get to the point where I have to start looking at buying a crossbow for my self-defense, we're beyond any fucking thing that the crossbow is going to be any good for.
You're all the way at the back. You're on the last teat on the hog when that happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you got to be finding firearms you can pick up off the ground at that point.
I ain't giving mine in the first place, so I ain't got to pick shit up. And that's the funny thing. We're saying they're not going to fight these laws in court. They're not going to do anything. They're just not going to give in to them, right? They may bury it. They may leave it in the closet. They're just not going to hand that shit over, right? And because look at I saw a picture on Facebook the other day because Miami had a buyback. They were offering $250 for an AR or an AK. Some dude walked in with 2 ARs, right? And you look at the compensation. You don't have to post that shit on fucking Instagram or something. Look, I've cut my dick off to spite my nose, you know? And the cops are looking at him like he was psycho. They didn't think anybody was going to show up with a fucking AR. And this asshole showed up with 2 to get his $500 fucking gift card for, $2,000 worth of guns.
Right. Yeah, that's just I can't believe those people are genuine when they do that. They've somehow got a hold of these firearms, I think, legitimately or not, through a deal or a transfer in the family or something. And they're just trying to make a political statement when they do stuff like that, if you ask me. I don't see them as being genuine firearms owners.
Well, they could go through YouTube, and I know everybody on the panel and everybody in the external has seen somebody or a half a dozen people on YouTube that they could take not the whole video but clippets and put them together and do a video like they put out against Chad Lilly, where they literally make you look crazy because you're saying, man, I really like this thing. It works good. It's accurate. It did this. And the next thing they shows another video you did a year ago that shows you running through the woods shooting and set a bunch of old ladies down in a grand jury room and show them that video and get somebody in there to manipulate them and say, doesn't this person here look like he needs to be questioned? Or aren't you terrified of this guy? And add some more dramatic and do some Hollywood. And the next thing you know, they've all signed off on you to come, well, let's talk to him. Well, before we talk to him, we need to go get his guns because, we really don't want a confrontation. And I can see them manipulating somebody because if they'll call somebody like that, and I mean, they manipulate people. So,
yeah, sure.
Viewer beware.
Oh, and believe me, all of us YouTube people, that's why you look at most of my gun videos. They're all around and family around because I don't post training videos because they may actually you someday.
What's wrong with training videos?
Who are you training for, right? Who are you training to go against? That's what's going to be used against.
Isn't it obvious?
Yeah, but what's going to be used against you in a court of law? Everything we fucking ever see on YouTube.
Right.
And they can load the deck too. They can load the deck because they do that, picking the jury. They can load the deck. Oh, we need to get a bunch of this criteria of people to look at these indictments to see if we can make any forward motion. So let's pick this lady that's husband was this and this man that worked at this for so long and yeah, okay, so they go through there and they hand pick them a bunch of people, not at random, not a jury of your peers, because like Tactical Tony said, these people are not my brothers and sisters. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's like the Bundys weren't going to get a jury of their peers. They're going to get a bunch of city folks from Vegas,
Exactly.
And now, hey, Ryan's running for governor, dude.
Yeah, that's a whole other chat, man.
Right? Bundys, they wanted dogs. They wanted to change the venue. They wanted to Southern District of Southern District, California. Change the venue. People in Nevada are on the Bundys side. That was the whole fucking government target.
You know who I'm gonna be campaigning for?
I'm getting me a sticker.
Yeah,
Have Reb print some up.
You won. Hey, Ryan, here in Illinois.
You think they went after Ron Paul? Wait till he gets up there.
Oh yeah.
This is Nevada, though. Fuck those.
It's more of a statement. Obviously, the majority of people are so blinded by party, they're going to stick with whoever the R's and D's put up there. But it's still the principle of the whole thing, and he does stand for principle.
It'd be nice if he get the R.
Well, he can
You
get
got what?
all the Mormon vote. I would say he can probably get all the real Mormon, not the Mormon by name only, but the real Mormon. He could probably get all the Mormon vote.
If he could get all the Mormon vote in Nevada, he would be able to represent. He would be a Republican, and he'd be the Republican nominee if he could get all the.
Too many of them are fake Mormons, and they're just in it to win it, and they're all politicized.
That's the ones I was talking about. That's Mormon by name only, because all their neighbors are Mormon, and but I like to smoke a big cigar every now and then, and I drink iced tea every day, and I don't. Yeah.
The Mormons are heavy in politics here in Nevada, for sure. They're pretty heavily representative in state government already.
And believe me, Bundy runs. I mean, don't think the Mormons don't know that the FBI, one of the big things was they were worried about the Mormons. Right?
Well, I think they still are. Let's go back to the Panaca incident and what that really was all about. My conspiracy theory hasn't been disproven yet, so.
No, it hasn't. It's just crazy. But, look, I've been able to keep my sanity by just turning this shit off way more often than I ever did before. And setting up to keep tracking. We've done this shit so many times, and they keep working from the same playbook. And that's what I mean. They think longer term than we do, and they understand a war of attrition. Okay, so if they get at the Second Amendment, they can't go and just say we're going to take them all. Mr. and Mrs. America, turn in your guns, like Feinstein said, right? They know it's a war of attrition. It has to be one round at a time. Okay, we don't want you to have a 30-round magazine, so we'll let you have a 25, right? And then 5 years later, 20. 5 years after that, 15. 5 years after that, 10. 10 years after that, you get single shot. 10 years after that, you ain't got shit. You get a spit, you get a straw, a piece of paper.
Black power.
Yeah, like that one meme or whatever. You hit them with your musket ball that runs out. You hit them with your triangle bayonet, and then you hit them with the grape shot from the top of the stairs. Tally ho!
What? Look, they're in long haul, right? Ever since you don't want to. I'm going to put on my tinfoil hat. Ever since the World Order started actually trying to take over, they've been steadily, incrementally infringing upon our Second Amendment rights and our First Amendment. Nobody ever talks about, right? So tons of things you can't talk about. Politically correct speech, all this shit. They're trying to include everything that once made America great. And they're doing it long-term, incrementally. They don't mind taking those tiny little steps.
Yeah, I don't know that the people are thinking that long-term, though, necessarily. It's just temporary. It's just the interim, their power base, of what they can take advantage of at the time.
Well, they can't completely disarm themselves because now they got Democrats that are running for office that are out saying we may have to go to the Second Amendment to unthrone Trump.
That's right. There was that.
Yeah,
there was that article today.
Spin on the second for me.
Yeah, where was that article today? I remember I saw that. I think I posted that on G Plus too. I forgot about that one.
I'll have to. Again, I mean,
Go ahead, dude.
I missed this story. Do you know it? Do you know it, Saints?
I'm looking it up right now. Give me a second.
Yeah, I'd still find it. The cliff notes on it. So they've got a Democrat that got up and talked to a bunch of people that did a speech, a political rally, roundup, et cetera, and he actually told the people, that they need to go to the Second Amendment to dethrone Trump because he's a tyrant, and started spewing Constitution, and I think it kind of rocked his crowd. I don't know how many got up, walked out, but yeah, I saw the little clippet of it.
Yeah, okay, here it is. I found it. It's in the New York Post. I'm putting it. I just put both articles in the side chat. I forgot to put the other one in earlier. So this congressman gets up, suggests Second Amendment as means of opposing Trump. This is from today, so it's brand spanking new. But he's a congressman from Long Island, Mule, one of your favorite places. But yeah, he got his name is Representative Tom Suozzi, so Suozzi, made the remark to constituents at a town hall last week, saying that folks opposed to Trump might resort to the Second Amendment. Well, dang, we've been saying this for how long? So his quote is, "It's really a matter of putting public pressure on the president." In a video that came out March 12th in Huntington. This is where the Second Amendment comes in, quite frankly, because what if the president was to ignore the courts? What would you do? What would we do? Oh, my goodness. He's been watching The Dragon, I think. And, okay, here's the next. Listen to this, Mule. A listener blurts out, this is because they're summarizing the video that came out. A listener blurts out, "What's the Second Amendment?" And then some other Democrat chimes in, "The Second Amendment is the right to bear arms." Spectators laughed, some nervously. Republicans were not amused. It's like Comedy Central hour almost.
I can hear the question and answer now. But we turned them all in for $250. What do we do now? Well, you go buy more. Well, where do we get them? You've outlawed them. There's no stores that sell them out here. Well, you have to go to a state that has laws to buy them and buy them through the loopholes. But you closed all the loopholes. Oh, my gosh.
Well, I mean, look, I agree with what this guy said, right? So if you believe that he's a tyrant and you think you need to stand up, that's the fucking Second Amendment for.
Yeah, we've been saying this thing forever. We've been saying the same thing.
Yeah. I'm glad. Hey, I'm happy to be on the other side is starting to see that, right? Because that's what it's there for. That's what the protection is there for. But the thing that cracks me up is these very same people who called Trump a Nazi are telling us to turn our guns over to him.
Yeah, that's what my post was when I posted it in G Plus. My comment was, "Hey, the only thing this guy got wrong is it's not about Trump. It's not about an individual. It's about the system. It's about resisting the system. It's not a one-man problem."
Oh, and here's the thing. All the shit was in place long before Trump. Trump isn't putting anything new in place. Okay, you can
hit him over the power that Congress abdicated 100 years ago. Yeah, no doubt.
Have been advocating on a steadily since, right? I mean, we're in wars that have never been signed for by Congress. Two of them. Okay? Congress never approved. Signing statements that become law that's never supposed to have happened. Look, I don't know what to tell people. I'm happy to hear that a Democrat finally understands what the goddamn Second Amendment's for.
It's attention grabbing. It grabs the headlines there for a little bit for him. It sounds like he's not even in a competitive race. They're saying he's in a first-term guy. He's getting reelected this fall. He's expected to easily beat his GOP challenger, Dan DeBono, who's a former SEAL in the general election. So they're saying he doesn't have. I mean, it's Long Island. How much competition can he have, right?
It depends. It really does. It will depend. Could this guy win it? Saying that, he could win it because he'll get a lot of, fence sitters, right? That are raised in New York and they're used to that. But this guy says the one thing I like, so I'll vote for him because at least then we'll have that guy in place, right? It's fucking stupid. But I did basically the same thing with Trump. So what the fuck am I supposed to say?
Right. Yeah, that's interesting.
And that's just being honest. Look, I mean, am I a Trump sycophant? Absolutely not, right? And you know it better probably than anybody, HD, along with my immediate family, that I'm just waiting for this to fuck up so I can hammer him, right? Just like with this Second Amendment stuff, I fucking hammered him, and I wrote to him and I told him I'll never vote for your fucking orange ass again if you fucking stand against any part of the Second Amendment, right? Because every they're not there for us. They only do shit to appease us.
Yeah.
So they can get.
You got to keep the sheep in line. Yeah, rattle them up.
What's the chat room have to say about it?
Oh, they breezed by a bunch of stuff. Let me back up a little bit. We have a bunch of people join too, it looks like. We got Patches out there with us. Welcome to the chat. How you doing? He says, but guns aren't bad. I think there's a little sarcasm going on here. Southern Style 357 joined us. In stating truth, the Constitution has been bastardized for 200 years. Yeah. Stefan Minkenberg is with us. Joined us from across the pond.
Howdy, Germany.
Jawohl.
Guten Tag.
Mall Ninja's with us. Yeah, I guess Mall Ninja knows where the video is. It's a hoot. I didn't see a link in this article. Where do you know where you found that video? Mall Ninja's on YouTube, probably. I would imagine it's probably on YouTube by now. It's over a week old. So maybe that's something we tracked down here. But he says it's pretty funny. It sounds funny based upon the description of the article. But I also got Riddle Girls joined us out there with Poison Stinger. And they're going back and forth. I think that brings us up to date. Stefan, you're from Paris? Is that correct? Did you talk about yourself? Says he's really from Paris. Maybe that's who he's talking about. I'm not sure. I know we had several from different places over there when they joined last time.
Right.
And we just had Pamela Den joined us. Good evening. Welcome to the chat.
So I guess it would be bonjour, right?
Sure. I don't speak that language.
Barely fucking English, right? So everything else is whatever.
Mall Ninja says that the video of that is on MSN web server. So I guess that's MSN. Riddle Girl says MSN is fake news. But a video is a video. It'd still be humorous either way. I don't even know how to get to that.
Oh, I'll definitely have to check it out later on tonight when I'm bored somewhere.
Get a link, at least for everybody.
I'm not showing any.
I can pull it.
17A, Adam.
Who's what? You watching? Listen to your scanner again, Tony. Is that Bikes listening to the scanner?
That's Tony. Good evening.
Tony's worse than an old man.
Flying out his neighbor.
Tony's just listening to the scanner all day, trying to eavesdrop on people.
Right. And you notice the Bike's got his ears lowered.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah.
Jarhead.
I gotta go get my hat, you little shit. Notice right off, man.
Jarhead.
Oh. Right? Are you a white supremacist skinhead? I mean, you can go either way with that.
Right.
Let's see, Jarhead, Skinhead. Nope, I'm gonna go with Jarhead.
Okay.
What are you constitutionalists up to tonight? Peace. What's up, brothers?
Hanging out.
Be a domestic tourist as usual.
Rebellion.
Good.
Every day rebellion.
Awesome, Chad. I'm here to listen to Saints, rap off the voices that he was doing earlier. Man, that's awesome, dude. The Democrats want to use the second. They're gonna bust out the flintlocks and the muskets, I guess.
Well, according to them, that's all it applies to, right?
I can hear it all now. What's this stick for?
Here's my boomstick. I'm here to take back my rights.
Boomstick.
Yeah. I'm tracking. I'm tired of these fucking labels and the fucking talk and the foreplay and nobody's fucking, right? I mean, that's what it really boils down to, right? All fucking yap, 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 yap.
The Democrats lost so many. I've noticed 2 or 3 candidates this go around that are not the extreme left candidates. They're like the guy that got beat out in Virginia. He was former military. He didn't bash they say he believes in the Constitution, but I hadn't heard him when he was going against Sargon or whatever the guy's name was. He didn't bash. He didn't jump on the gun control agenda. He had 2 or 3 things that are really not, on the Democratic ticket, but they said he's not really left leaning. But then again, they also said when it comes down to the runoffs, he'll never get in because he's not far left enough. So who knows?
Well, see, that's the thing, that the Democratic Party itself is destroying itself because most of them aren't far left. They're like everybody else. But Admiral David Webb, right? That was the only Democrat I would have voted for if he would have gotten the nomination, which he tried last go round. I would have actually voted for a Democrat. Admiral David Webb would have been the one I would have voted for, right? But you're never going to get a real moderate Democrat any more than you're going to get a moderate Republican anymore. Everybody's to the extremes on both sides.
And the divide widens. It's getting farther and farther and farther apart.
Funny you mentioned that, Bill. Funny you mentioned that. I was thinking the other day, when people talk about left, right, are they talking about left, far left, extreme left? When they say left. When people talk about the right, are they talking about right, far right, extreme right, but they just call it right? What you said is very profound, very profound.
Well, the problem is that what most people call left and what most people call right are both still aligned on the political scale. They're not actually that far apart.
Yeah.
Well, when you talk about the Constitution, though, not the barratry and the titles and the codes and the revised statutes and shit like that, bring that into conversation. You know what I mean? Bring that into the forefront of the mental thinking. We're talking about the Constitution. Those things don't apply. You see? I'm just saying. It's pretty profound. Very, very good point.
Look, people aren't taught this shit anymore. We don't have a common place any longer in this country, right? You used to have one. Don't have a common stance. They're not taught the commonness of the United States, the things that we are all interconnected with, right? And it's not an extreme left or extreme right point of view. We all are interconnected. We're part of this country, and we're not taught that any longer. That's why you see kids stand out with a Mullen Lobb shirt wanting to give up, take my gun, right? Or another one saying that, why is my school a gun-free zone? You're not even... why I saw a sign of some kids standing out there and saying my school is not a gun-free zone, but the White House is, right? Which is fuck you. Who taught you? That's the exact opposite of what's true. Your school is a gun-free zone. That's why you're a fucking easy target, right? The White House is not. That's why it's not an easy target. About every third person in the fucking White House has a gun on them.
But it's gun-free towards the citizen, not them.
But they don't even understand it because they're not taught it, right?
Right.
That's what I've said, rather than have these kids go out and protest, why didn't they teach them what the fucking Second Amendment's really about? Because they're not going to. They want to keep the fucking population stupid. That's why we have common core that's why we have common core education in this country now. Why? Because you have to keep the fucking population stupid to be able to control them. An informed citizenry is almost impossible to control. And our founding fathers even said that. Read the goddamn Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers. Son of a bitch. But who the fuck is taught that in school anymore?
There's no interest.
You even bring it up and they look at you like, what? What the hell is the Federalist and Anti-Federalist papers? It was two sides of the discussion talking about how we form our federal government.
Very true. Yep.
Right? But they're not taught.
All people are taught is James Madison's the father of the Constitution. That's all they're taught.
Yeah.
Broadway. You know, and he's a
know
young.
what barratry is? I mean, do people really know? Do they ever bring up the word in their mind and they go, "Hey, that's barratry"?
No.
They don't know what it is. They have no fucking clue.
And this is what I mean. You know, HD, you're like, you're not sure if it's a long-term plan. I believe it really is. And you can go look back to the 30s and look at the Communist Manifesto. Whether they're communists or not, they're following the fucking plan, right? Take over the education system, indoctrinate the children because you're not going to get the adults. And eventually you will win because the adults will die. The children will become adults and they'll be indoctrinated into the system already. And they will accept everything that we put forth. So the game plan's generational, right? It's not immediate. That's why they're okay with getting laws on the books, like we were talking earlier with Tony. They get laws on the books that they know is not going to be enforced now, but in the next generation it will be. Because these kids were taught to pay attention, toe the line, all the same shit everybody has been done, that Uncle Sugar is daddy, and what he says goes. So while we, this last generation of the rebellious people, are going, no, they think fucking rebellion is standing with the government.
Did you go live?
It's true.
I mean, look at these protests by these kids were all government fucking sanctioned, towing a government fucking line. There was nothing organic about it. There was nothing people standing up. No, they were fucking told to. In some cases, forced to. You know, to tow a government line to get it out there in the media, making it seem like it's this organic fucking thing that it's not. So they have a way different plan against us than we have against them.
There are no names. There are no names being named as to whom. The names of the organizers, the people that applied for those permits. I mean, seriously. I mean, think about this. There's practical application involved here. Not just kids organically going out protesting. That's not real. But it's real in people's heads. It's fucked up.
Kids ain't going to fucking go get a permit to, Bloomberg money with a Bloomberg check, where are they going to come up with a fucking Bloomberg check? Right? The kid may be the face, right? But it's the parents and the fucking teachers and all these people that are organizing it that are the real power behind the throne, right? They just throw this fucking kid out there and say, you follow this script, we'll make you a fucking star, right? And we get what we want without anybody knowing who's really doing it.
I found the video of this. If you guys want to watch it.
Sure.
Okay, let me pull it. I'm going through the ad right now. The ad's playing.
Before you start, where the hell was my fucking brief this morning? I had my coffee ready. I come out and I get a little fucking, hey, there ain't going to be no freaking brief this morning. I was like, what the hell, over?
Right.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tomorrow.
So here's this video. The only link I could find through a search was on Fox News. So, I mean, take it for what it's worth, I guess. Let me get it over here. Let me pull it up, share it. Get my audio set up here to hopefully capture this. All right. So let's see if this comes through. I'm going to play this. Let me expand this too while we're at it. So yeah, this is this guy in New York, Long Island. Tony, mute yourself. You're overriding the dadgum video. Dadgum. Hard to get good help around here, I tell you what. Oh.
Yeah, Senator in the House. Okay, so there's a mandate before the president. If he does not execute that mandate.
What town hall is that?
It's in Long Island, New York. It's Congressional District 3, I think, in New York. We back it up a little bit. The volume was not.
If there is a mandate from the House, was from the Congress as a whole?
Yeah, Senator in the House.
Okay, so there's a mandate before the president. If he does not execute that mandate, what does our Constitution say should happen?
How much time is
How much time is he left?
I don't know the answer to the question. It's it's really a matter of putting public pressure on the president and making it public, which is hard to break through the news cycle with all the different things. And it's probably about going to the courts as well. And then, I mean, this is where the Second Amendment comes in, quite frankly, because, what if the president was to ignore the courts? What would you do? What would we do? So, Second Amendment is the right to bear arms. That's the way we have it. That's the way we have it. Anyway.
That was kind of short, but there might have been.
See that woman try to grab the mic out of his hand when he said right to bear arms? Grandma wanted the lollipop back.
Oh, yeah.
You want to see how many licks gets to the center of its face.
I bet everybody in there, you couldn't get 2 rusty revolvers and a BB gun out of that whole group.
But he was right. Okay. Now, whether you're talking about Trump or Obama or any fucking president, he's right. If you go through all the steps that are put in place in our system, grievances to the government and courts, and the government ignores the courts, what other step do you have other than the Second Amendment? Now, them in Long Island, they ain't got shit left. They're lucky if they got a fucking Winchester 94, But the reality of it is not right. I mean, whether it's Trump or whomever, right? But we're already past that in a way because the government doesn't pay attention to the fucking court systems, right? The court has had the FBI under indictment for not releasing fucking documents, FISA all kinds of different documents, right? That they just won't release. They don't give a fuck. The courts can tell you all they want, and these government agencies go, yeah, we're just going to ignore you. We don't care.
Right. Yeah, because it's a matter of how they're going to enforce it. They're the enforcers. How's the court enforce it?
Yeah, I mean,
enforcers.
I'll make a prediction. I bet that guy, I bet a dozen rotten eggs for Halloween that guy does not get elected. And I also would speculate that they will use that little comment he just made against him in the election.
Yes.
They look at him as a turncoat just for mentioning that shit.
Well, look, like Saints pointed out, the second he said it, that fucking woman was like, what? Give me that mic back.
It's funny.
We don't like you anymore. You can go away. Next.
Yeah, Mall Ninja made it sound like he saw an extended version of that. I don't think that was everything that he saw.
I'd like to hear the whole speech.
Yeah, it'd be, yeah.
Oh yeah. These fuck sticks. My goodness. Pardon my French. It's not French, really.
It just goes to show that there are people on both sides of this equation that understand. And, now where Republicans are more than willing to stand up and say it, or at least, us are more than willing to stand up and say exactly the same thing. To hear a Democrat come out and say it, well, I'm happy.
For me, it's not a surprise. Weeks ago, I don't know who follows G Plus or whatever. I posted liberal gun clubs, liberal shooting clubs and things like that. I mean, there are people on the left that do their thing with guns. I mean, they really do fucking exist. I mean, really, they do. They exist. And then there's that mainstream narrative that everybody on the left is completely anti-second, anti-rights. No, that's not really true. This is why I go back to what you said, Neil, which was very profound earlier about left, right, extreme left. You see? That's the narrative or the mantra that seems to be going on is extreme left, extreme right, in lieu of what is moderate these days. It's almost non-existent, right? I mean, that's just my point on that.
They don't, because it's easier to control us, the United States of America, the country, when everybody's separated and at each other's fucking throats, right? If we instead put all our differences aside and work towards finding common ground, we wouldn't be, we wouldn't be as divided as we are, to where people are, the second you mention that, oh, I'm an independent or I'm a libertarian, half the people shut down and don't want to hear a fuck all thing you said, even if they might agree with all of it. Because they're so put into these fucking camps. Right? And that's what the people in power like, because then they get to stay in power, right? If we can find common grounds, which we have fucking common grounds. Every liberal, every Republican, every fucking Democrat, every fucking libertarian, every moderate has common ground, because we all live in this fucking country and we don't want it to break apart. We don't want our kids being in fucking gulags. We don't want these things to happen. So there are plenty of common ground for us to work from, but nobody wants to be there, at least not the ones in power, because then they won't get to stay in power. The only reason why they're staying in power now is because they keep us fucking separated and divided, and so everybody chooses a fucking tribe. Oh, I'm a Republican, so I'm not going to listen to a single thing the Democrats say, even if they have good ideas, right? And I'm a Democrat. I'm sure is not going to listen to Nazis, even if what they say is actually a good idea, because it's a Republican to put it up, or it's a Democrat to put it up. The fucking idea. Right.
Me personally, I giggle every time I hear the term dino or rhino. I actually giggle. I giggle because people relate with these things. And when you vote for somebody, it doesn't say rhino. It says Republican. When you vote for somebody that has a D next to their name, it doesn't say dino. It says Democrat, right? And how subversive is that in the mind, right? I mean, that's very it's almost nuanced at this point. I mean, to me, it's funny. I don't know about you guys, but that's where I've been at a long time. I've been at that a long time. Then I bring in the legal language and stepped away from common law, stepped away from the Constitution, the intent of the Declaration of Independence. It steps away from all of those things, and yet people are still carrying on the mantra of the Constitution when you look at code, statutes, United States Code, titles. I mean, you look at all those and you go, who's responsible for that? What was his or her name? Bar attorneys. People are sue happy. It's that programming. It's that programming of sue. Keep the barratry moving, right? But when it comes down, when the rubber meets the road, that Democrat we just saw, he's like, hey, we might need to use the Second Amendment. And people are going, hey, I'm going to snatch that microphone out of your fucking hand. What are you saying? You get it? It's that programming. It's so deep. I mean, it's so ingrained. And I hate to say it, gents, but for me, this is actually, I chuckle at it. I digress, but yet I chuckle at it.
But you see what happens when you start busting the programming. What happened to this guy? They put him fucking down. He's running for office.
Exactly
He's
right.
He's just the person they want to hear from, right? But then once he says something that they don't want to hear, that is shocking to their senses, what, the Second Amendment right to their arms might actually come into play. Shut this fucker.
He must be a dino. That's what people will say. You know,
see what happens is once you start speaking real truth, the cognitive dissonance comes in and people's heads start to hurt, right? And so they have to shut it down because it's causing them fucking mental pain.
Yeah, true.
Cognitive dissonance kicking in.
2 words. Yep.
What's that in the back of your head? What's that from Pulp Fiction?
I don't know what all them big words mean, but if I had to choose a bunch of kids, if I had to pick a bunch of kids out of that high school down there, like the ones that CNN's got up there, the little skin-headed girl and the little Nazi-looking dude with a black armband, or go down here to the creek and get a bunch of kids down here that, yeah, mama might work at Dollar General, daddy works over at Goodyear, you know, he builds tires, but these kids are down on the creek. They ain't driving brand new cars. They ain't got brand new cell phones. Yeah, they got a few broke teeth in their head because mom and daddy's doing all they can do to keep the lights turned on. They eat every day. They eat good every day, and they eat healthy, and they say the blessing, and they love their grandma and say the prayers and all that stuff. I'd rather have that bunch of kids than I would that bunch that came out from down there, the little skinhead Mexican chick that's standing up talking about, I want results, and the little pencil neck kid that only way I'd follow him, see how lost I'd get.
Heart.
That kid
I hear, Saints, are you talking about children with morals and beliefs?
No, I'm talking about kids that are live in a $250,000 house with a pool in the backyard, driving a new, the latest and greatest Toyota with a $500-600 cell phone, 250 channels. You know, everything anybody could want. Wouldn't put a sock on with a hole in it. Oh, I can't wear this sock. It's got a hole in it.
Right.
You know, no thanks. No thanks. I mean, I don't look down at anybody for what they've gained out of their life, but this entitlement and this gifted bunch that's been handed to their whole life. Well, you have to bring in, you know, I have to have this and I have to have that. And I need you to help me fold clothes this week instead of the kids struggling and having to do their chores before they actually go do something they want to do. Yeah, I believe I'll pick the one that's mama works at Dollar General and daddy works at Goodyear. Sorry.
That girl, that bald-headed girl, what's her name? Emma fucking something. She made me want to puke in my mouth. Seriously, that's how disgusted I was when I heard that speech. I almost puked in my freaking mouth, man. I couldn't believe what was coming out, what was being inserted in my ears.
Standing out there trying to dictate policy for grown men, like all 5 of these guys on this panel, which I'm going to exclude myself, trying to dictate policy and worldviews on us that they're my gosh, wet behind the ears is not even a good word.
Life has not even touched that girl yet. Life hasn't even touched her yet. She's not even old enough to be touched by life yet. And people are going.
Here's the thing. It's but who's putting her narrative, right? Who's giving her mic and who's putting it on national air, right? So it's the propaganda fucking machine that's doing it. The same propaganda machine that's put up this David Hogue, whatever that fucking kid's name is, David Hogg or whatever, right? Yeah. Little Himmler is what I'm calling the fucking kid. Because once you've seen that goddamn armband, he looked like a fucking 20-year-old Himmler instead of the fuck, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. Let's talk about those. Hold on. You saw her speech, Mule? You saw her speech, yeah?
No.
You didn't?
I'm not giving them a click. I'm not going to fucking pay attention. I'm not.
No, it would behoove you to do so. It would behoove you to do so because the visuals. I want to know who that lady was, the handler right next to her. She had the white hair. Look, and who that dude was, that grown man next to her, the other handler, identify those 2 people. Their names were never mentioned, but yet there they were. They were do you understand? That was magnificent. And it was put out right in front of you to see. And you're being mocked. She was a handler, dude was a handler, and she's standing there giving a speech. Those were handlers in front of everybody.
But that's why I don't pay attention, because all I have to do is see that image to know what's going on, because I have fucking more than 2 brain cells.
My
Right.
point is what were their names? That's my point.
Find them out. It's like trying to find out a CIA operative's name. Unless the fucking, unless somebody wants to cut it loose for their own purposes, they're not doing it.
Not going to. Correct. Not going to. They just refuse to do so. Bullshit. Yeah.
They're not going to say who paid for the permits for them to fucking meet, right? They're not going to pay. They're not going to tell us who scheduled this fucking thing from the beginning, right? It's organic. Yeah, you planned it 2 weeks ahead. You have all the fucking paperwork. Everything's all governmentally legal, and you're going to tell me it's organic? Fuck you, right? The only thing organic about that whole thing was that kid and his sister putting on fucking Nazi armbands unknowingly because they have no clue to history. And that's why they came out and apologized afterwards, right? Even though the image is already out there and it's fucked them over, right? But they came out and apologized after putting it up because, we didn't realize people would get hurt because we put on these armbands and now we look like Nazis. Well, you didn't have fucking history in school. That's why you didn't know it. You're supposed to be a fucking senior and you didn't know fucking World War II history or the rise of the brown shirts? The fuck are you talking about? You wonder why we're going to repeat the motherfucker? Because nobody's learning from it.
True story.
That
no doubt.
Nazi. I mean, 100% of these thoughts are fucking fascist thoughts. They claim they're not fascist, but everything they say is pure fascism.
Because they don't know.
I'm glad I'm older than die within the next fucking 20 years. Seriously, and I prayed for the rise of the so everybody. I'm not worried about the fucking Terminator. I'm praying for the fucking Terminator. You give me a chance, I'll give the chip to Skynet. Fuck them.
Oh yeah, we reached prime form now. I mean, in some ways, it would be easier. At least you know who the enemy is, right?
Yeah. Well, it gets you aggravated, man, because you know what? They've so dumbed down our country that this is the fucking results. Right? This is the results of 40 years worth of socialist schooling. Right? All those motherfuckers that didn't win in the 60s went into fucking education knowing that they were going to change it generations down the road. Right? To where it takes 20 steps to add 2 + 2. They call that Common Core math. 20 steps to come up with the answer 4. And if you do it in 2, you're wrong. That's the patriarchal way of fucking doing things. Because, of course, math is the white man's burden. Right? Fuck.
When you got to pick people up, Mule?
I'm waiting on my crew. They must be stuck somewhere.
Right? It's like, oh, man.
I know, like an hour ago, I got a text while we were talking, right? Oh, crew should be here in an hour. I'm like, cool. I don't give a shit. Look, I'm been sitting here for hours talking to you guys, getting paid for this is the best chat time for me ever, man. I'm getting it paid by the hour. Fuck.
Yeah, you can't beat that. That's for sure. I wish it was.
I mean, we did what? 40 years worth of fucking Green Dragon chat. And all I did was argue, fight with you guys 3 times a week, sometimes 8 hours a night. And what did I get paid? Nothing. Now I'm sitting here getting paid fucking by the hour. Yeah, this is golden.
Damn, Mule, you're getting paid for this shit, dude.
Yeah.
I'm sitting here going, shit, man, I'm losing money right now.
Nope.
Yeah, I got paying for the electricity to keep this going. That's hard enough.
Shit, I ain't even paying my cell phone bill at this time. My fucking boss picked it up because he wants to be able to call me whenever the fuck he feels like.
Yeah, that's good trash right there.
Dang,
you should tack that up like per diem for your travel.
That's
I'll pay the phone bill as a perk. I'm like, okay, good.
unlimited data, I guess.
Yeah, on top of making more than what most people do in my town, just to sit on my ass and drive around rail crews. Fuck. Hell yeah.
That's a job. I need to get that job for sure.
Sounds like
Talk
a good
to you.
gig.
Watch movies on Netflix, right? Or sit and do all the shit I used to do for free. You know, now I'm getting paid for it.
Well, hell, if you're going to be sitting around watching Netflix, I have a show for you, Mule. You would love it. It's known as Colony. If you haven't seen it, start watching it.
No, I tried watching that shit and I went, no. Thank you anyway. First of all, when they didn't explain the alien invasion in any part of the first season, I went, fuck you.
Season 2, man. Just watch it. Just watch it.
No, you don't get that from me anymore. If you don't at least lay your premise down early enough, I'm not gonna put through 5 seasons for you to finally tell me what
fishing mule, they gotta hook you, man. It's fishing, dude.
No, and I'm not a fish. Right, I got way more other shit to do with my fucking time than get strung along on these stupid.
You just said you get to sit around and watch Netflix. At least fucking give it a shot. Come on.
But then you know what I watch? I watch documentaries. Right, I really don't watch TV shows any longer. I watch, that's the kind of stuff that I watch because I'm not going to fill my brain with bullshit anymore. There's too much of it out there. I may sit in the same room with my family while they watch some dumbass shit that I don't really give a fuck about. And I'll be on my phone studying documents from, FISA documents. You know what I'm saying? So I just don't follow this bullshit anymore because there's too much real shit going on to where if I'm going to turn off, I'm going to go turn off and play with my grandson. I'm going to go turn off and play with my granddaughters and other grandkids, right? I'm going to turn off and go outside and go take a fucking walk, right? I'm going to turn off and head to the range and go get some gun smoke up my nose. I'm not going to sit.
Yeah, valuable time.
I'm to watch some stupid shit that's just there to fucking put holes in my brain.
Entertainment is all it is.
What does that do? That takes away from fucking real shit. Entertainment used to be something that you paid attention to after you were done with all your real shit, right?
When I'm in bed with the remote, yep, that's entertainment. All asleep, that's all it is.
Now entertainment is supposedly the real shit. That's why these fucking actors and sports figures think their fucking opinions really fucking matter. Because we've elevated entertainment, something that's supposed to distract us from the fucking real cares of our lives for 10 minutes at a time. We've put them so high on a pedestal, they think they fucking matter.
True.
So I'm not feeding into that anymore personally, right? Now, I'm not telling other people to do what I do. I just don't feed into it anymore. If I got the time, you know what one of my favorite things to do when I'm doing this job and I'm driving around is listen to Jocko Winkler, whatever the fuck his name is, right? That ex-Navy SEAL.
Say that again. Who?
Jocko Winkler. I don't know what the dude's last name is, right? It's like Winkler, like that. Huh?
Is that AM radio?
No. It's on YouTube. Oh. He's an ex-Navy SEAL podcaster, right? And he talks about, he's a motivational guy. He talks about, the last one I watched was him. He did a 4-hour interview with Dakota Meyer, right? The sergeant who won the Congressional Medal of Honor, right? Because of some fucked up shit that happened in the Ganjgal Valley where the Army said, fuck you, Marines are dying, we don't care.
Yeah, I heard
right?
about it. Yep.
4-hour interview with this guy, fucking deep shit. That's what I'd rather listen to than fucking watch some dumbass who's going to tell me when he's off, when he'll use a gun on in a television show or a movie, but then the second the film starts running, he's going to tell me to give him my fucking gun. Fuck them. Right? I'd rather listen to Jordan Peterson, right? Discuss about 12 things for life, right? I'd rather hear that. I'd rather hear Jordan Peterson argue with a fucking feminist and red pill him, right? Than fucking watch, Scooby-Doo. Because that's the equivalent of what most of that shit is on TV any longer. It's just fucking stupid shit to make you stupider. And I ain't got time for that.
Yeah, for me, it's a matter of tracking the realities placed in fiction. That's just what that's about for me. Just saying.
No, and I understand everybody does stuff differently. I used to be able to just sit in front of a TV and mindlessly shut my mind off and let the images roll past. Now I can't do it because the reality does step in. When I see some, go watch Modern Family and watch how all the men on there are such fucking cucks and all these fucking women are supposedly these strong, fuck you. That's not true.
Yeah, my wife likes that shit, man. I got to leave the fucking living room Dude, I have to get up and leave the living room and go, well, I'm going to go sit out in the garage because I can't watch this shit. That's true. I can't do it. I mean, I want to puke. I mean, I just, and I asked her, why are you watching this shit? Fuck. I mean, really? But whatever. It serves.
I mean, look, I don't watch television with my wife anymore for the same reasons, because I just sit there. I can't help it. My brain automatically kicks in with reality into their fucking storylines.
I get it.
That won't happen. That's not true. What they're doing on that screen right now is just feeding a false fucking premise to people.
It's programming.
Cops won't walk away from that. This, that, or the other thing, right? No man is going to put up with that shit, right? But but the wife goes, oh, it's just TV. Yeah, but you know what? You keep feeding into it, and all you're going to do is believe that's reality.
It's programming for acceptance is what it is.
Yeah,
programming
walk away. And it started back in the day with like Mr. Mom kind of deal, right? Where guy gets laid off and he's the most inept fucking human that's ever, and dangerous with the children, right? Fuck you.
Yeah.
Okay? I get laid off in winter, and I was a better mother than my wife. But, nobody wants to look at that.
Nope.
All right, guys, I got to go.
Hey, later, Mule. Boy, that was quick.
Here yet? Long huh?
Yeah, you guys delayed coming in. So.
Did they? Okay, I'm here. Just whose crew is coming up?
Ryan and Ryder on the first one.
Okay, am I waiting for both crews, or am I just going to jump them back and forth?
I'll figure it out. Depends on where I need to be, so we'll see.
Okay.
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
All right, let me know. All right, back to my paid gig here. That was my boss telling me, yep, they're not here yet. It might be another hour.
I thought you just got busted being on the cell phone. I was like, oh, fuck, you got busted, man. Shit.
No, look, I'm allowed.
Like that's good, man.
Yeah, as long as I'm at their beck and call, right? Now, if he just said I got a crew to go get, I got to shut down and go get my crew, right? Otherwise, it's my time. They're paying me to sit here.
It was just funny because you fumbled with the phone, and I was like, "Oh shit, you got caught being on the phone."
No, I just had to hear. I had to hear what he had to say.
Some employers are like that, Oh fuck, what are you doing on your phone? They'll trip, dude. Depending on your job.
Whole gig. I'm driving around union guys who give absolutely zero fuck. Illinois guys, right? Rail working union guys. They don't care. They don't let me speed. I'm not allowed to go a mile over the speed limit or I could lose my job. Right? So they don't complain about how slow it takes to get to the job. They don't complain about how slow it takes to get. They're getting paid the whole fucking time. They don't care. Right? And neither do the bosses. They don't give a shit as long as I pick up the crew when I do. I can do it. I can sit here jack off all night and they don't give a fuck as long as I don't spew in their eye.
Yeah. As funny as that is, I don't want to imagine it, but thanks, Mule. I appreciate the info on that.
My corporate killer gets the job done. That's why I got so many kids, right? So.
Oh man. Yep. True.
Yeah. This is kind of turning into a dragon once HC walked away, right?
Dude, you and your oh my God, has it really been? Oh man, I look back, I reflect. It's been just for me, because you guys been doing this for God, it was like 5 years. Yeah, but
I heard that
when I started picking up on the dragon, it was a little over 4 years ago, man. And then you guys started letting me participate about 3.5 years ago, I'm like, God, man, time just flew by, it zipped by, and I'm going, we're right back where we started. We are literally right back where we started.
And that's why I'm, if it isn't HD or Tony calling, I'm not answering anymore for these chats.
Yeah.
Because I've said so much of this before, it feels like repeating myself just in a slightly different way.
Yeah, circle jerking. Yeah, I got you.
Yeah. And that's not, look, I enjoy talking to you guys, and that's why I answer. I certain calls I'll answer if I can, you know, but most of them anymore I won't, because what am I going to say that I haven't said already? If you want to see you want to hear what I think, there's fucking years worth of Dragons you can go pay attention to. Okay. Right. And then filter out some of the, you know, 2 Girl 1 Cup stuff, you know, and you'll get some real meat.
Yeah, the times it went off the rails, you got to separate that stuff out, right?
Yeah, but you know what? That's a bunch of people who've talked so long that sometimes we have to laugh because the whole situation makes you want to cry.
Well, like we've said many times too, though, and the message needs to be said again, because you never know who's listening. You never know who's new. You never know who the new players are that are hearing it for the first time.
And that's why I answer your call, HD. That's why I answer Tony's call.
I thought because I slipped you a check every week.
Well, we weren't supposed to mention that on air. There's certain people who I personally enjoy every conversation we have, and I do see new people being added to it, right? So look, take Stefan, right? That's your name? Stefan, whatever it is. I'm Steven, so, you know, you're just a weird version of it, I guess the French one. But awesome seeing that, right? When you guys got that influx of new blood from Europe, it's awesome to see that there are people over there waking up. So this stuff does need to be said. It just gets so tiring to be the one saying it. And that's why guys and Angel coming in and you know, grabbing the banner and running with it and pushing it forth is awesome. And I love seeing that. And that's why I'll answer their calls too now. Right? So if Patch ever hit me up, I'll go talk with him. Angel ever decides to start doing his own, I'll go talk to Angel. Why? Because I know they've picked up the standard that we carried for a while, and some continue to carry, and now they're carrying it.
Yeah, spreading like a virus, right?
I hope.
Maybe more like the mold. Maybe not quite as fast as a virus.
Well, I keep spreading it. You know, we were talking. Bikes was talking earlier about how he likes seeing these liberal gun clubs, right? Taking out some of my kids' friends some of them are gay, some of them are very super confused. They don't know what fucking gender they are, right? But it's funny when you take them out to the range how shit changes for them once they start once they go through the safety course and you start them out small and then you bring them up to the big guys. All of a sudden their whole attitudes change. Then they start asking questions like, how do you get a FOID? Which in my state, you have to ask permission to own guns from the state. How depressing is that? But they start asking, they want to know. Once you show them what freedom really means, they want a little more of it.
Yeah, I mean, you never know who you're going to come across. Every little opportunity is an opportunity. Don't waste them. Like you say, the frustration level is hard to overcome, I think, for all of us, whether it's in your daily life or on here. But like you said, usually when you unplug from here, you get better results out in the real world anyway.
And that's the one thing I do continue to do is I continue within my own community, right? The place that I live, I continue to talk to people on a personal basis about these things and have these discussions. Even my boss, the guy who hired me, even though I was wearing an AK shirt and my fucking don't tread on me hat, you know what I'm saying? And all that shit, he's a fucking libtard. And he still hired me because he understood I had integrity, and I had no problem with fucking arguing with him about these things. And the fucker still hired me. You know, so changing minds within the community is the only way we're really going to do it. This internet stuff, it's awesome. It's great getting it out to the world. But the reality of it is, it's the interpersonal that will make a fucking difference. Because they won't care. When they're talking to your face to face within spitting distance, it's kind of hard to get stupid butt hurt. You know? You have to be able to have a conversation face to face with people, and you can actually do some mind changing. Then sometimes, not all the time, some people are way too ingrained into their fucking tribe to ever change their mind. But it's not always the person that you're talking to whose mind you're going to change. It's that guy that's standing off to the left a little bit behind him, listening to the conversation. That you're that mind change.
Exactly right on that one.
Yeah, too far gone. They're just like, I mean, that programming has them so fucking taut, so tight. I mean, they're just too far gone from, the reality of where they are, who they are.
Yes.
That's
around
where
here.
By the signal or the little post.
They're over by the intermediates?
Yeah, that's right where he's going to be at.
All right, I'm on my way.
All right, thank you.
No problem.
Mule's got to go pick up.
Well, look, stay hooked up until, it drops. So, because I'm just going to drive over there and wait for them for a fucking half hour over there in the empty where I can go take a piss.
Go do your thing, Mule.
We'll probably shut down when you get back to us, Mule. That's all good. It's a weeknight. I can't run this too late. We're going to shut down here at 11.
Comb that beard. Hello, you.
What's the regs on that bike? You got a reg for that?
He needs to square that shit off or V it out. One or the other.
No, it's the way it looks today. It's pretty square.
All right, Santa Claus. We'll catch up.
And we'll clean up that haircut. That one, your right side's a little off, buddy. That ain't no Marine Corps.
Hey, it's reg, baby. It's reg. 0 to 4.
Dude.
It's actually 1 to 4, but yeah, we'll talk about that later.
Maybe we won't talk about that later.
No, we won't. We don't want to talk about that.
You're more in regs than I am anyway, Bikes. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, I saw your shit the other day. Actually, a few weeks ago. I was like, who the hell is that guy? I don't know him. He looks all freaking clean and shit. He had the freaking little face, freaking fur face and shit going on there for a while. And now look at you.
Where I was at Mark, they call that a leg haircut. What you got?
Yeah, a leg haircut. Is that right?
Oh, wow. We went there.
Somebody knows what I'm talking about.
I don't even want to talk to you about your freaking. You ain't in the mountains, but you got that mountain man look. I don't even want to talk to you.
They told me I asked them if I need a haircut. They said, "Can you pinch it?" And I reached up and tried to pinch it, and I said a little bit. They said, "Go get a haircut."
Go get a haircut. Yeah. No, it's funny. I was sitting there in the chair and all, and this girl was cutting my hair, and she used a 3, right? And she goes, "Well, how's that look?" And I go, "That doesn't look like a 1." And she goes, "Oh my God, I'm so sorry." She goes, "We got to talking and all. I forgot that you like a 1 to a 4, And I'm like, how'd you forget that? Was it my good looks? Was it my charm? It was the awesome non-shaved face. It might have been the sideburns that might have got her, or it could have been the fuzzy eyebrows. But I'm not sure yet. But I thought about it. I just thought I'd share.
Pretty sure.
One thing I wanted to hit on before we wrap it up, you guys tracking this whole Texas bombing situation?
Very well. Yep.
Filled in on this latest.
Oh, yeah.
So it looks like the people or the persons in question have changed their modus operandi and are using tripwires now.
Yep. Especially on the racial issue on that front. That's been completely changed, which is what I think you're tracking on there because it's not exclusive now, right?
Right. I guess this latest one was in a more well-to-do white neighborhood.
That's correct.
So they're making it sound like they're linked. So I guess that on the inside they know what composition of explosives is being used and what method of shrapnel and everything else, probably using them to link them together. But
they knew that from the first one. Their HD. They knew that from the first.
Well, they knew what that was used, and they track them. They link them together by what's being used. But
yep. Second one, they already knew for sure. That's a fact.
So get ready, but fasten your state belts because now they have to purge the internet of all chemicals where you can't buy any kind of chemicals over the internet, eBay, anything else. And they also have to purge the internet of any kind of instructions on how to make any kind of pyrotechnic device. So there's your event. Now here comes the narrative. Get ready for the action, because they always jump on the, oh, here's a cause. Run, get your signs, get your flag, get the little kids, hand out the Nazi armbands. We got to get all this stuff.
Hey, Saints, are you saying we can't still find how to use fertilizer in a rental rider truck?
You don't you mention the F word.
Boy, there went my internet started jumping and chopping and
Did I get dropped?
Man, they sucked so much signal off. They sucked so much signal off of this, your face got blurry.
Hey, I need to put something in your brains out there, and your little BHGs out there. I want you to think about squeezing out small business, your little messenger services, your little private freaking package delivery services, for big companies, things like that. This is also a way to actually step out of that. If you use any private messaging services or private delivery services, things like that, I want you to think about that and how that's going to be regulated now as well.
Well, even regulating UPS, FedEx, Amazon.
Yeah, but those are the big ones. I'm talking about smaller companies.
Well, it'll squeeze them out of business because they can't meet the regulations.
Correct.
Big guys will be overregulated. All that stuff you're getting through Amazon, free shipping, that'll be gone.
Yep. You always attack 1,000 different directions. That's how the enemy operates. They never use one excuse to do anything. There's always a, let's say, agenda behind everything that's done with a narrative. So just saying,
Well,
am I in Texas? No, I don't worry about it. But all eyeballs are on Texas right now. So what else is going on?
Be watching. It'll be Tannerite that they added one more component to it and made it sensitive enough where they could set it off.
Yeah.
So now they got to have the Tannerite and this other third component that they added to it to make it shock sensitive, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. And they'll get all that plus all the information out there, everything, just like they did with the sinus medicine. Now you have to go show your driver's license, everything else to get sinus medicine because they were making dope out of it.
Well, it's the complexity behind the devices in and of themselves. That drew curiosity immediately for me. I don't know about you guys, but for me, when they talked about now they're using trip devices, things like that, or a type of barometer type device. If you raise it up in the air or whatever, it'll trip and explode, things like that. You're talking about adding in complexity. So EOD guys out there, if you're listening, you know what I'm talking about. Some of them I know.
That stuff's not that complex. I mean,
it's not, but
it's not complex if you just take the time, because you got people in the middle of the desert that are figuring it out. It's hard somebody with access to the internet and just understanding either chemical composition or just simple physics on how different forces can be used. I mean,
interesting, very interesting story to follow, but don't drown yourself in it. That's a little FYI out there. Don't drown yourself.
It's a good track for, like you're saying, what's the message pushed in relationship to it, and what are they trying to get out of it? Because if they didn't have a narrative before, they'll try to push one after.
Okay, so now maybe they used gunpowder that everybody uses for reloading. Now we've got to choke down on gunpowder, because anybody that's done any reloading knows bullseye gunpowder that's a great pistol ammo is like freaking 90% nitrocellulose, which is it's still a low explosive. They don't classify between high explosives and low explosives. They just chop it off and say explosive. So they've got all the high explosives away from the public, all the components and everything, the acids and bases and all that it takes to make that stuff. They've taken all that out of the public, where you have to sign for it. Hey,
You come on now,
myself,
man.
brother.
Hey.
I'm censoring myself. I haven't said any trigger
all right,
words to get.
I'm listening.
Hey, Saints. Saints, we might want to cut the chat because we've now got a Russian in the chat, side chat.
Oh boy, yeah, okay, yeah. I don't want to divulge any.
Writing in Cyrillic and everything, so we're being
Okay, yeah. Well, I don't want. Yeah, I did sign a non-disclosure.
I don't know where that came from, but somebody decided to join the chat from across the pond. It looks like.
But yeah, anyway, yeah. When they take it, they'll take it all. I'll end up with that. How's that?
Yep. And you know, all you have to do is take the gunpowder you mentioned, add it to tannerite, and that's what makes it 22 tannerite, right? So that's the key ingredient that turns tannerite into an easier explosive, I guess. So you're right. They're going to come for it all.
I was always taught imagination is key, but hey, that's just me. So leave it at that.
Yeah, it's just fucking nuts, man. And the funny thing is I can go out to any farm here where I'm at and get all the chemicals I need to do anything I want. Right? So it's just amazing that they can say they're turning it off to the public, but like anything, if you want it, you're going to get it. Look, drugs have been illegal in this country for how long? And I can go down right now and go get me an 8-ball of fucking Coke for $150, 10 minutes from where I'm sitting. And yet it's been illegal in this country for how long?
Yeah, and so is murder, but they're trying to ban everything, but whatever.
Well, and we've said it many times, based upon the statutes they've written over the decade, there's enough stuff in your household for them to come shut you down based upon the Patriot Act.
There you go.
It's what's under your kitchen sink.
Stop it, you.
What?
Just think tonight they can come take me.
Give it away. Stop teaching people to think.
Right.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah.
We're in trouble now.
Pretty much.
Well, somebody that's got let me put this in parentheses, a device that works. It's very rarely that somebody, a rookie, a kid, somebody that hadn't got any background study or hadn't got any actual reference material, just to add a bunch of crap together. You know, when everybody's kids, they used to peel all these firecrackers, peel all the paper, and then you end up with a little bitty pile of powder, and you go, man, all them firecrackers was loud. This, and it's nothing, It just fizzles and pops and goes out. But once somebody goes out and actually does these little trial and errors and comes up with something that's effective and that works and literally doesn't do away with them while they're building this chain to get to their final goal to make this material that'll do what they want it to do. A lot of people don't ever make it that far because they either burn their place down or they blow themselves up, because that finds out, well, there was an explosion and so on.
Or they get caught doing stupid shit.
Right. Or they start asking, or they go on the internet and start looking for answers on the internet, and then they get caught.
It's true, man.
It is.
True. This is 1,000 front operation. Think about it.
It's like Hillary Clinton's IT guy goes on the internet, wants to know how to wipe a hard drive. How do you get rid of the information on a hard drive?
That was a joke. That was so fucking funny when I heard that. I laughed my ass off, man.
But it's fear. It's a communist use it, fear tactic, control through fear. Same thing. They'll have everybody scared to go out of the house. Oh my God, UPS left a package. Do I dare touch it? How many cops gonna have to go out and check everybody's boxes where they ordered shoes that are sitting on the porch that they're gonna have to send somebody out and shake the box before they open it?
Hey man, my shit just blinked out here on the chat. It went blank. Pause. Came back. HD. It's up to you.
Get under cover. Here
What do you
comes
mean?
they called a drone strike. You know, and you better get under that work table. Get under that motorcycle lift.
What good's that gonna do? Get under your table when you gotta
Hey,
take
this is
them
plate
hellfire
steel.
missile.
This is plate steel, man. I'm good. I can get up pretty. This is plate steel,
There
baby.
you go. That'll stop
Good.
it. Put the helmet on. Put your biker helmet on there. That'll help.
Yeah, that hellfire is probably gonna
I've got a
decimate
condom
that.
right here, man. I'm good.
Put your helmet on. That way it won't mess your haircut up when the secondaries go off.
Yeah, that's why I cut it short.
Right. Yeah, it's time to wrap it up. 2300. I need to hit the rack. So let's wrap it up, fellas. Thanks for coming out, joining us. Side chat's been tearing it up here lately. We had a bunch of people join in too. Looked like some Russian dude, Russian entity. Alan B. Pro joined us. You still doing this? We're wrapping it up right now. We did it. We started it earlier. William Gares just popped in. I'm sure it won't go off the rails at all. But that's we talked about everybody. We've pretty much hit everybody else that's been in here. But thanks for joining us, everybody. Hope you got something out of it. There's some discussion points. Didn't have a chat this weekend, and we're not going to have a morning chat either, Bike. So don't get your coffee out. Just so you know, there won't be another one tomorrow morning either. We'll try to pick it back up Wednesday morning. But you want to do some shout outs or cut away there, Bikes? You want to start?
Sure, if I may. I appreciate it. I want to say shout out to Southern 357. Haven't seen you in a while. American died in 1913, of course. Truth Freeze, always appreciate you out there. God, Poison Stinger, man, it's been a minute since I've seen him. It was nice to see him do that chat recently. Stefan Minkenberg, Boneyard, nice to see you out there. Everybody that came out, thanks. And HD, thanks for the invite as usual, man. I appreciate you for letting me voice my opinion on your forum. Appreciate that. Mule, it's always a pleasure, man. Of course, Tony. Cannot forget Sage and Sappers. Listen to that guy. Learn. Teach yourselves to think out there. Going on half-cocked on narratives and rumors out there. That's just a little FYI for you. Semper Fi. Thanks.
All right. No doubt. Yeah, thanks for jumping in. Saving the chat, Bikes. You saved the last 30 minutes or so.
I doubt it. I don't save shit.
Hey, Saints, you gonna get anything?
Yeah, I might have derailed it a little bit. Sorry about that. I'm real passionate about what I do, though. But yeah, appreciate the invite. Hope I didn't give away anything that's going to cause a national security incident. Appreciate everybody coming out on the outside and try to keep it interesting, man. Just trying to keep it interesting.
God.
Don't eat your prep soap. Don't turn your brass up. And just like Bike said, if don't believe the narrative nowadays. If you do, man, I got some swampland in Louisiana I need to see.
Yeah, that's definitely true. Yeah, we also had Mule Team in here with us earlier and Tactical Tony. Shout out to them for coming and joining us. Mule kind of dominated the chat for the first half, but then he had to get some work done, so he had to cut away. But thanks everybody for joining us. If you're just coming in late, we talked a lot about California at the beginning, and we got into some gun control subjects and gun confiscation in Florida, and we kind of wrapped up with the Texas incidents and what's going to go down there potentially. But yeah, just stay alert. Keep your head on a swivel and pay attention to what's going on around you, even though it may be repetitive to repeat the message sometime. Like we were saying, you got to keep pushing it out there because somebody's going to be listening at some point, hopefully, that's new and not heard it. So that's really what we try to do in a lot of times. But thanks for coming out and watching the chat. Definitely a good crowd for a Monday night. Dadgum. I guess people don't have lives like we don't. Bikes, what do you think?
Quit playing, man. Quit playing. Wrap up your shit.
It looks like a real shout out real quick. We had Cyrus down there in Vegas join us. Cyrus 992 he's down in Vegas, has some good videos of exposing the government corruption down there. It's some good stuff if you're in Southern Nevada, or if you just want to follow along and watch what he goes to the town halls and everything else and tears up the city commission and stuff. It's good stuff.
Who was that?
Cyrus 992. Aren't you subbed to him?
No, I should.
You know what I'm talking about?
No, I gotta be.
Go check it out.
Gotta be.
Yeah, go check him out. He's down there in Vegas, Clark County. Also, there was another video I wanted to reference from Dadgummit. I was thinking about it earlier, and you guys started talking about tannerite and making stuff. Got me all fired up. Shoot, what was it? And I totally spaced it, and I was going to mention it, and I can't think of what it was now. So I'll have to pay for that later, I guess. Missed an opportunity. But thanks, everybody. There won't be a morning chat in the morning for those that are wondering. I know Truth Freeze is out there a lot, and Bike said he has his coffee, but there won't be one tomorrow. We'll try to pick it back up Wednesday morning. So just FYI. And we'll see you then.
Yeah,
thanks for coming out.
Guess
Live
I'm
free, people.
MSN now, or MSM for my weather and shit. But whatever.
All right.
God will forgive you.
Yeah.
I won't. Go ahead.
All right. Live free, folks. Have a good night.